Yosh.
Yosh.
Alright, I have the video. Okay. We'll find out. We'll find out more once the game actually starts going. But hopefully, audio is all good. But alright, we're about. Oh crap! I should change the title. Wario Land. Shake it.
There's an interesting discussion going on that I'm sure we're going to dive into over time about how the shift in Wario's character from Wario Land to WarioWare.
That had more to do with the Japanese interpretation of him.
Okay, I'm not super familiar with
basically
Wario
in
Land
Wario Land kind of spun off from Mario Land in that the developers of those games wanted to do more wacky and wild out there ideas for their platformers on Game Boy, because the Game Boy between Mario Land 1 and 2, the Donkey Kong Country kind of versions, was known for being much weirder than their console counterparts, mostly to try to give you an incentive to play them and not just be watered down black and white NES versions of them from the Super Nintendo and later N64. So what happened was they gave Wario the role because the games are getting a little too weird, and Nintendo was like, yeah, we don't want Mario to be a part of this.
Yeah.
So in Japan, Wario's character is much more kind of, as far as like commercials and other media, Wario's portrayed much more of as a gross, flatulent, just kind of a slob than he is a straight, greedy kind of anti-hero that he was in the West. So there was kind of a disconnect between the two audiences, and that's why everyone's like, why is Wario farting in Super Smash Bros. Brawl? He doesn't do that. It's like, yeah, he does in Japan, though.
I mean, even the Wario Land games are already kind of much more goofy and weirder, but then it's just WarioWare just goes completely nuts.
Yeah, and because of WarioWare, the Japanese version kind of took over Wario's character, even though I much prefer the Land version of Wario.
Also, anime cutscene.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into the animation in this game. The shame it didn't do better.
Let me know if the audio is the audio all balanced. I just want to be sure. Tell me if it needs to be slightly quieter, slightly louder.
Sure. No one said anything yet.
Yeah, it's waifu material.
Captain Syrup.
Sounds like you're good.
It's like one of basically Wario's version of Risky Boost from Shantae.
Oh hell yeah, more! Oh hell yeah, more waifu material right here.
Calico saying maybe slightly louder on game audio, just a tiny bit.
Okay.
I like that they remember Wario's fancy car from Wario Land 4.
So was Shake It made by the same at least makeup of the team from the previous ones?
No.
Good Feel.
It's good. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, this was Good Feel's first real foray for big Nintendo properties. Okay. This was before they went all super arts and craftsy.
Yeah. Go figure. I mean, you can tell because they always have a certain like stylized approach to their games.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, this is a cutscene. Obviously, they didn't do this themselves, but.
Oh no, the game actually looks like this for the most part.
Yeah. I remember seeing.
This game looks so good for a Wii game. It's like, why don't you do more of this, Nintendo?
Why couldn't every game be like this?
It's so fantastic. Like it's so pretty. It's like Wario Land Shake It is so amazing. Like I love.
I still say 4 is a better game, but
I need to go back and replay 4. I do think going back replaying Shake It has a bit more, and maybe this is also just because I suck at the game, so there's a lot more to it, and there's a bit more backtracking, so to speak, if you aren't that good at the game. While 4 is a lot more shorter and simplified, so it's much easier to go back to, and I could jump in and play through the whole thing. But I think Shake It.
Shake It requires you to do levels multiple times to 100% it and do like extra objectives, which is a good idea on paper to give it more length. In practice, it just means you're stuck doing like time trials and other crap that you don't really want to do.
Also to go back and get money in order to buy the next levels.
Yeah, so it's just kind of a weird system of how the game progresses in some ways that I don't feel is really necessary.
Yeah, like I think I do. I might have to do some backtracking to get money, and just in case if we end up going over time, I have an extra save file of the final world. So if we end up so as not to waste more time, I can just jump over to that.
Yep. So basically, this game is kind of attempting to be kind of like the new Super Mario Brothers for the Wario Land series, and it should have worked, but it didn't sales-wise, which is a shame.
It's weird because I don't know. I guess there's something to there's probably an argument that could be made that Wario is one layer too far out of like 1 degree too far from Mario, that it didn't have appeal as much to the Wii, the very casual Wii audience, I guess. But it's interesting because then you see Luigi's Mansion 3 and it goes fucking bonkers. So I think a Wario game, like another Wario Land, could do just fine.
Yeah,
but...
it's weird because by this point, Wario by himself was an established brand. You know, you had the 4 Game Boy / Advance games. He was in all the Mario spin-offs. You know, WarioWare was a thing at this point. It's like people knew who Wario was.
Yeah, I just wonder if there's a weird like selling power kind of thing, which again I don't know that I agree with that. It just there's an argument that you could make.
I think it's like, as you said, it was just because it was on the Wii, and the Wii went super hard on the casuals, and this is a game that appeals more towards more long-time Nintendo fans.
Yeah. And speaking of Mario characters, we have a $5 donation from Mr. L. I obsessively played Wario Land 2 back in the day. Loved discovering the secret exits and alternate levels / endings. Hope BSC might do commentaries for the series in the future. Put this towards Rondo, please. So that's $5 towards Rondo, which I believe is going to make Castlevania 4 just $1 ahead again.
Yep.
So remember, everyone, that ends tonight. So if you want your preferred Castlevania game of those two, if you want Johnny and Derek to race Castlevania 4 or Rondo, you got to donate by the end of tonight, and it's very, very close.
Yep, Super Castlevania 4 is leading by $1.
That's going to come down to the wire, I think.
Also, the other thing about this game is that, I mean, like the title says, there's a lot of shaking. So, if you find that annoying, then that might also be a slight turn off because you do a lot of shaking in this game.
Yeah, that's like the only other gameplay thing I don't feel is particularly aged about this. It's the Wii, so you got to have lots of waggle controls, even though no one likes waggle controls.
What year was this? 09?
I think
09 or 010.
I believe it was 08.
It feels like it was 08.
Okay. It's pretty early for a Wii game, so it's pretty interesting. I mean, it makes sense that it have all the woggle because 08, but you wouldn't think they'd have a Wario game out so soon. I don't know. It feels like one of those later gen kind of games you throw out.
Yeah, because I do remember this was it was either between or early within the Wii's lifespan.
Froze Star on the comment says Wario Land. Here's what we think: Wario is actually not fat, but has muscles that just look fat. That is actually canon. Wario is 90%. Wario is actually 90% muscle. It's just that his stomach covers most of it.
He's one of those fucking power lifter body shapes.
Basically.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so that's actually canon to Wario's character.
God, this game is really so pretty.
Yeah, it's
like once you get to the boss fights, I'm like they look like Cuphead boss fights. They're so well animated and designed.
Yeah, why don't more 2D games look like this?
It's a lot. It's got to be a lot of money.
I was gonna say it's a lot of money and effort.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
To change one thing, I'm assuming these are actually hand-drawn 2D rather than 3D flattened. So that means that if you change one thing, you have to go and essentially redraw it. You can't just I'm not an artist. I mean, you know better than I do.
Yeah, I'm not really that much into sprite art, but I don't really see that many challenges depending on the frame counts. But But yeah, I could see this being a little bit more tougher to change at late stage.
Yeah, it reminds me of almost like the issue that Skullgirls often ran into. Or I'm assuming it often ran into, where everything's so stylized and they're so particular with like their frame data, like even more so since they're high intensity fighting game, that any one thing you change, you have to go in, like you can't just change the hitbox necessarily. You also may have to change the actual frame of that sprite. Or not sprite, but of that 2D render, for lack of a better word.
Yeah,
So now I gotta go to Pirate Waifu and buy maps in order to access each of the worlds.
Yeah.
Not risky boots.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I will be doing donation commissions. As usual, it'll be just sketches now, and I will put up the price sheet on Twitter momentarily.
Awesome, cool. That'll be really fun.
We got any new
So yeah,
donation?
if you
I'll read the donation.
also,
What?
yeah, go.
Ryan?
I don't.
What?
No, weren't you about to read donation?
No, I was asking if we had any.
Oh no, we don't. No,
sorry.
we don't. Sorry, it sounded like you said we have one. No, we don't have any right now. So we are at $8,012.
Woo!
Alright, let's-
Yeah, admittedly, I thought we were gonna get to 10,000 by the end of the marathon, but
Yeah,
It's-
I mean,
getting a lot faster.
everybody's been killing it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Shantae feels like it was heavily inspired by Wario Land, says Kia Prentice32.
Not entirely. It's more like the only real similarity is Captain Surf and Risky Boots.
I can see like the sort of
boops.
the light sort of pseudo Metroidvania kind of approach that both had, but they were both kind of contemporaries rather than. Well, Shantae was late Game Boy, so I guess.
Mario Land 1 and 2 were very different games to 3 and 4.
Okay, that makes sense.
1 and 2 are very more. They're still exploring aspects, but they're very more platformers and kind of power-up sort of things.
Okay, so it didn't go like Softvania until 3.
3, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. I played 2, and it didn't really. Everyone always said, "Oh, it feels kind of like a Metroidvania, but level to level," and I was like, "Not okay, I guess."
It's like Metroidvanias are by definition not level to level as a result
Yeah.
of their game design philosophy. So
Yeah, I mean, it can work with a game like Blaster Master, the way that they have it set up, where it's like a separate world that still is kind of interconnected, but you use it's mainly like Vania elements specifically within one large like level, not hub world, but then also backtracking for extras if you want to. It kind of works. The genre's so broad that you can kind of make it whatever you want to. As long as you make it well.
Wario also controls really well, just with his like fast-paced boost and the jumping.
This would be a fun game to speedrun, I would think.
Yeah.
Unless there's like something to stop you, like any big roadblocks.
I mean, like one of the main like achievements that you do is because you go through the whole level, and then at the very end you kind of like collect the fairy, and then you have to run all the way back to the beginning of the level. So it's like one of the achievements you have to like speed run and get to that end within a short amount of time.
Okay.
yeah, that's something they took right out of Wario Land 4.
Triforce says that Metroid Fusion was their first Wario Land.
I mean, not entirely wrong. Because Wario Land 4 and Metroid Fusion are running on the same engine and were developed at the same time.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Go figure.
Yeah, they do look fairly similar.
That's really neat.
Yeah,
So
'cause
which one?
Sorry, go on.
No, I
No,
was gonna ask. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say this was back because during the early Game Boy Advance, none of the main Nintendo development teams were doing anything handheld-wise, so it was kind of up to the smaller teams to just kind of figure shit out on their own.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was gonna ask because people are mentioning Master of Disguise, which is one I forgot existed. What's the deal with that game?
They kind of tried to do kind of like a halfway between Land and WarioWare, where it's just wacky weirdness, and it doesn't have like a super defined gameplay style. It's not super great.
Okay. And it's labeled that one. That one's labeled Wario Land, right?
No,
Yes.
no, it's just Wario Master.
Wario
Disguise.
Master.
Oh,
But
It's clearly cramping on Wario Land style more than WarioWare. So
okay.
And then you
And
also
that-
have Wario World, which I haven't played, but I just saw the BS. Like the BSC playthrough is the only my experience. Is the only experience I have with World.
I think same, yeah.
Wario World is weird in that you can see the potential, but they clearly didn't have the time, budget, or talent to make that really a thing.
Yeah. And that's an even weirder one because that's on the GameCube. So now there's even a
Yeah.
smaller core audience ready for that one.
Yeah, it's one of those they tried to make kind of a Wario Land game in 3D, but they wanted to have more combat because exploring in 3D was still really kind of weird at the time, especially
Yeah.
for a small studio that doesn't have the budget for that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was just in a weird position.
That's kind of what makes it. That's kind of what makes it a struggle when everyone always says, you know, they want a Waluigi game, because it's like, if Wario struggles to keep his identity between franchises and games and struggles to sell at points, how the hell are you gonna get Waluigi to make money?
Well, what I've said, what they should do, and this is basically a free idea for Nintendo, they can take any time they want, is, especially now that Mario and Luigi is kind of dead, what you could do is just Wario and Waluigi, just kind of give them that sub-series and give an avenue for Waluigi to get more involved in a game, more in-depth than just
Yeah.
side spin-off sports stuff.
Yeah, and an idea I had, a funny idea I had was for a Super Wario Brothers game, where it's basically like a traditional Mario formula. Only all the levels are in reverse. So the World 1 is like the fire level, World 8, and then the final level is the World 1 grass level.
That'd be interesting.
I think you could do a little bit more creative if you did a Wario Brothers
you
game.
can do something more creative with those two.
Yeah. And I know I think there was a ROM hack that did this, but I remember everyone always said, just make a Waluigi game where he cheats, like where cheating is his gimmick.
Yeah.
That'd be really fun. Or at least a fun idea.
I mean, you could do, like I said, you could do that kind of stuff with like a Wario and Waluigi game.
Yeah, you could still do it that way.
Where like Waluigi's main gimmick is that he's like the thief in RPG class, where he's just constantly stealing shit from people.
Yeah. That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We have 2 more donations.
Huzzah.
We have $5 from World Traveler CV. Hi everyone, good to see a Wario Land be featured during this charity marathon. I've only played 3 and 4, but one of these days I'll finally play Shake It because it looks really cool and I love the art style. I really hope now that Good Feel is done with Yoshi's Crafted World that they can make another Wario Land. Please put this towards playing as Lissa in Fire Emblem Warriors, and have a great rest of the week. So that's $5.
Okay. What was the name?
Lissa?
Damn it.
I don't know.
No, the donator. Sorry, just for
World Traveler CV. Sorry.
Got it.
And then we have $5 from the Fabian strategy. Wario is such a massive Chad. Speaking of Chads, put this towards Rondo of Blood in the Castlevania race bid war, which is gonna mean that we are now $4 ahead for Rondo of Blood.
Yep.
So again,
what was the donator's name again?
Fabian strategy.
Fabian strategy. Got it.
Someone is asking, did this game use voice clips from Brawl? I think this would have been before Brawl.
No, it's around the same time Brawl was
Yeah.
be in development.
Okay. So they might have shared assets somewhere in there.
Possibly.
Who
You
did-
have
who
you
did
have,
it
Mar-
first?
you have Martinet in the booth, so
Yeah. Just get him now. It's gonna be interesting to see
He's
what
not
happens
doing
when he
anything
retires.
else.
Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting to see what happens when he retires.
I
Because
mean,
you
it's
have
one
a
of
lot
the-
of people that can do voices.
yeah, I was gonna say they don't really talk very
Yeah.
much, so you could find someone who can do kind of the grunts and yahoos and all that. Plus,
Yeah, yeah.
plus a lot of them you can just keep reusing.
And that's
It's,
very
it,
true
it's
as
like
well.
it's like you don't need to have someone come into the booth to do new Mario wahoos.
Yeah. It'll be interesting because I almost wonder if at that point they lean less into voices or they lean a little more into voices once Martinet is no longer doing the voices because they'll have somebody that's cheaper. So
Potentially, we'll just kind of have to see.
yeah, because it'll be one of those things where I would be surprised if they have one person do all the voices again because they are very valuable when you do that. And Nintendo is one of those companies that doesn't like to rely on 1 or 2 people that much. It seems.
They also don't like paying actors very much.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It's kind of the problem. That's kind of why for Smash Brothers, they don't use the Kid Icarus Uprising voice actors because Sakurai kind of insisted on getting union and certain kinds of actors for the roles.
And Nintendo hates unions.
Yeah, that's why we don't have that's why we don't have English Cloud in Smash Brothers.
God. Sanyago7 asked Ryan, "What's your opinion on Pizza Tower?"
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't either. So I was hoping you had a better idea than I did. If they reused Yoshi voice clips for 20 years, they can probably do the same for Mario. Yeah,
I mean, they reused Captain Falcon voice clips for 25.
Yeah, that's very true. My morbid fear is that when the day comes that Martinet passes away, do you really want to keep using those clips? Like, it kind of becomes weird at a certain point.
Sort of, I guess it's really no different than listening now that I forget his name, but Pepe's voice actors died. Is kind of hearing like Pepe voice clips from 64 and stuff.
Yeah, I mean it'd be a little different compared like having clips in the past games versus continuing to use a man's voice after he's passed and maybe not paying his family royalties. It again, morbid thought is just one of those things that pops into my head. Like, man, like what happens when somebody on The Simpsons like dies and like they don't just get rid of the voice? Like, because mostly anytime an actor's died on The Simpsons, they've just gotten rid of the character, and they're very respectful.
Well,
but you can't get rid of Mario.
Except recently, they did replace. When Russi Taylor died, they didn't get rid of the character she played. They just replaced her with Greta Ly. I think it was Martin, Sherry, and Terry, and Greta Lyle is now playing them.
Okay, I was thinking of
But yeah, Marshall Krabappel, they got rid of. Phil Hartman, all of his characters.
Phil Hartman was over. It was like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, but in general, like for those characters when they.
Yeah. And everyone is saying that Pizza Tower is basically an indie Wario land. I'm assuming you haven't played it since we don't know.
Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that.
No, I haven't. As usual, leave it to indies to do what the big companies don't want to do.
Yeah.
It's like, we want you to just make a normal-ass Star Fox, and Nintendo just keeps saying, no, okay, we'll make it ourselves. And Nintendo's like, why? It's like, because you won't do it.
And then when they do go ahead and make it, they're like, no, canceled.
And everyone's referencing Bug Fables. Yep, that's one.
Yep.
I mean, I'll say, I know I mentioned this at other points throughout the stream so far. I liked Origami King quite a bit. It's not the RPG that I know we all kind of want, but they kind of went Zelda with it, and I kind of liked that, and I'm okay with them experimenting with it if next time they just go full Zelda, because the battle system wasn't bad in Origami King, only because when I beat the game, I only had less than 200 battles according to the one trophy that win 200 battles. So it's like you're only doing one battle every 10 minutes or so, so it's really not intrusive. Like, it's not as bad as you would think.
It's one of those. Well, just two things. One, if you're going to have a battle system and be somewhat RPG in that regard, I want to battle. That's kind of the main driving point gameplay-wise. The other is just, I can recognize that it does a lot of things right. I am going to go into that game no matter what being mad, because I want an old-school Paper Mario game, and that's not fair to both my time and the game's.
Yeah, I get that. That's kind of why I tried to go in with that one as open a mind as I could, because I didn't dislike Color Splash. Like, I liked it. Now that I've played Origami King, Color Splash is much worse as a game, because that game invalidates Color Splash in almost every way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
look, Gordon, ropes. We can use those to climb big pits.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because I think they really started hitting a groove with Origami King, so I think that they can really do like a baby's first Zelda kind of thing going forward, and it would work out well for them. And I think this one may be the one that started changing people's minds a little bit. Like, obviously we still want the RPG, but I think this one showed that we can as a community accept, okay, it might not happen, and what they're doing is pretty good too.
I think at some point, especially with now that Mario and Luigi is basically dead, is that they need to somehow find a way to get back to an RPG at some point.
Yeah.
Whether it's with Paper Mario or something else, they need to say, okay, Mario and Luigi's dead because the Alpha Dream company is just gone.
Yeah.
And we've effectively killed any chance of ever getting a normal Paper Mario game again.
Yeah.
You need to throw those fans a bone somehow.
Yeah, there's got to be something, and that's the big next hurdle they're gonna have because, yeah.
It's like if you want Paper Mario to be different, fine. You have to make an RPG before you make another Paper Mario game at this point.
Yeah.
And it's Nintendo themselves who killed Alpha Dream, technically. It was like, let's go ahead and make a remake of Bowser's Inside Story for the 3DS.
Even though the 3DS can just play normal Bowser's Inside Story.
Yeah. 2 years after the Switch came out, that'll work out, and then it's like, whoops, what do you mean it didn't make any money?
It's literally, I think, like the second worst Mario selling Mario game ever.
That's fast. I mean, it was so late that I'm not surprised, and like you said, it's redundant. There's literally no reason for it.
And even more, I'm surprised that Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, which is kind of even more pointless than that, because like at least Bowser's Inside Story, even though it's a weaker version, it's at least different, slightly different. But like Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn, that's literally the same thing as the Wii version. But that one, I think that and that one came out after, but I think that one sold better, and I think did overall better.
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure, but the last 2 years of the 3DS are really interesting because you can tell it's Nintendo desperate after the Wii U's colossal failure. It's Nintendo desperately scared of the Switch not doing well, so they had just enough for the 3DS for a year or two to not kill that in case the Switch didn't do well. And it's kind of like, no, you needed to move on with this regardless of how the Switch was doing.
I see a few people in chat talking about the idea of doing an Origami King styled game with Super Paper Mario styling of live RPG combat. And I think that they sort of played their hand a little bit on what I think that they might do for the next Paper Mario, because they had the in-world paper mache battles, and they were all very simple, besides like one boss fight where you do it in real time, and it's not the weird ring system. And that was really the point where I'm like, okay, give me that, because that was just a very simple Zelda boss, like it, and I loved it. It was just the big goober blooper. And it was all in real time, and you're just kind of doing some platforming, and obviously Paper Mario platforming is kind of weird. So if you kind of combine Super and Origami King into like that's how you do your battle approach going forward. It's not an RPG, but it would make more sense for that if you want to go that way.
Yeah,
like
you could make it more kind of, I don't want to say Chrono Trigger, but you could make it a little bit more
like active battling.
Active battling, a little bit more kind of like equipment based.
Yeah.
Where you got like, you have your hammer, you have your jump, and you can have like bring in like the hand abilities from Mario and Luigi. So you have like kind of like your three modes of attacking, and you could like upgrade them or have, Mario has his normal fire hand ability is the fire flower, but if you equip the badge, you have the ice flower, and you can do extra damage to fire enemies, but weaker damage to ice enemies. Give it some RPG elements to give the RPG fans something to do with, while keeping it simple enough to where you don't have to necessarily go into the menu and min-max your stats to make fights go easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know even there's a point in Origami King where they even do in the actual overworld sort of stuff. They do let you play with the hammer, the hammer timings and stuff, as if it was like, I'm trying to think how to word this, like optimizing your hammer. So like you hit the hammer at the right time, and you do the little flippy hammer attack, the most powerful, excellent one. There's a point where you do that in the world rather than in the ring system. And again, it feels like that's where they're kind of leaning, but they're still for some reason attached to having some sort of turn-based structure, which I think kind of worked for Origami King, because the reward was that feeling of, I did a puzzle, and yeah, they're simple, but they kind of get tricky sometimes, especially if you just can't see it, like you're gonna struggle. So it's weird. It's weird, but it kind of works, and I can see why people don't like it. But
yeah, it's just one of those. To me, Paper Mario, kind of from its inception, is on some level an RPG.
Yeah.
Whether Tanabe wants to admit that or not.
Yeah, and that interview really did a lot of
damage,
disservice to the game, because even then it wasn't even misquoted. He just said the wrong thing. Because I think later on he came out and said, "Oh, we meant regarding like aging the Koopas and whatnot," and it's like, okay, but even still, that's kind of a dumb quote.
Yeah. So it's just one of those. You can experiment, but because you want to do something different, fine. RPGs aren't just all gentleman's combat. Everyone stands on one side, the enemy's on another, and you take turns.
Yeah.
So, on some level, they need to kind of either pull Tanabe aside or have someone speak up and say, we can do an RPG and have it be more action-oriented.
Yeah, and it's just so weird that Tanabe was the one that said that, because like that it just came right out of the Miyamoto Sticker Star School of Thought.
Yeah.
And it just really does feel like there's a style guide for Mario now, and then Odyssey can break it just fine, and that's fine. But if you let a spin-off company do it,
something's wrong. It's like there's very hypocritical rules going on, apparently.
Yeah.
It was either there's very hypocritical rules going on, or Tanabe's covering his ass.
Yeah.
Well, both are potential.
Either way, they're problems.
Yeah.
But
it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, there's not much we can really do except for hopefully politely suggest things and pretend that they'll listen.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that irked me kind of the most about the Tanabe interview, where he's like, oh yeah, I've been on the forum posts and I've seen the Nintendo Power surveys or what have you, and it's just like, okay, if you see it and you keep doing this, it kind of gives the impression that you just don't care.
And the worst part,
which you need to be aware of, regardless of how you feel about it.
Yeah, and the worst part to me was the whole thing with the Nintendo Power survey they did, or Club Nintendo survey.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Sorry.
where it was like 1% of Super Paper Mario players said they really liked the story, they liked the gameplay otherwise, and then they changed both the story and the gameplay in the next one anyway. Like,
it's also one of those. It's like, I'm going to call bullshit on that. I want to see the numbers for that before you make that claim.
Yes. That too. I mean, it's
because everyone who likes Super Paper Mario says the story is the best part. There is no way that data is correct.
Yeah, unless they're just. I mean, I guess.
Unless they're cherry picking something.
Yeah, because if it's Club Nintendo, it's the most dedicated Nintendo fans. Which also, no offense, I wouldn't necessarily trust us for making proper financially motivated decisions, because we're gonna buy it either way.
Yeah, but it's one of those. I don't believe those numbers that he said.
Yeah, it's just odd, but I think it's one of those things where like they're choosing it to try and get the conclusion they want.
Yeah, which is kind of the problem I have with them on that.
Yeah.
Look, man, I just love Wario.
Yeah, Wario.
Yeah,
Wario.
I love Wario too. I want another Wario Land game.
Honestly, I'll take any
I like
Wario. Yeah,
Wario.
I want a new Wario Land game, but I'll even take a new WarioWare because it's been a while. I think like Game & Wario was the last one.
Well, no, it was the Wario Land Gold on 3DS.
Oh right, was that the one where with that cutscene where he has where he has pretty much almost full speech, and he's like talking.
Yeah, well, no, he talks entirely in that game, which was really weird.
Oh. Yeah, it was so fun. Yeah, I love that one where he's like, I think he's calling.
Oh yeah, pizza time.
Oh,
he's calling up all his friends like, hey, Ashley hangs up. Oh, okay, I guess they're busy then.
Oh, okay, I guess they're busy. I love that.
Someone said in chat that you can hear the Woolly World in this game's soundtrack.
Yeah.
I can't hear it, obviously, but I believe it.
There's a lot of early signs of good feels kind of design philosophy in this game.
Yeah. And reuse assets.
Well, like, with the way this game looks, that's an inevitability.
Well, I was more mainly talking about the sound effects, and
yeah.
Yeah, you can clearly hear them reusing some sound effects from this game. But yeah, in terms of design philosophy, you can see hits into that design philosophy here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go around collecting. Like, if I see a treasure chest, I'll go and get it. But I'm not gonna like go out of my way to try and get them, because really all you need in order to beat the game is just the coins, so you can buy the level maps. So, like, I'm not gonna like I'll try and also get some of the achievements just for the heck of it. But yeah, just coins is all really worrying about.
So hypothetically, could you like just save up your money and just do the final level early, or do you have to do all of them to do the final level?
No, you have to beat all the worlds, because once you get to the end of the world, you get you unlock if you find a boss, you find a boss, and then you get an emblem for that boss, and then you.
Okay.
So I think technically, if you save your money, you could probably technically do it in any order. It's just the last level is obviously more expensive. So.
Yeah. Because that'd be cool if they had like several levels that are all similarly priced, and you kind of like got to choose like, oh, do you want to go to this one or that? Obviously they don't tell you in this game, but you know, which one sounds more appealing? Do that first if you want to.
Yeah, and the way this game does is just, okay, there's like World 1, which is 1,000 coins, and then there's like World 2 is like, I think 50,000 coins, and then it just kind of keeps going. I think the final level is, I think World 4 is, I think 150,000 coins, and World 2 is like 200,000. But I'm also really terrible at like finding, because it's like each level says like, oh, you should get like this amount of coins and like you get an achievement, but like I end up getting like 10,000 under, so I like never know, like I don't know what I'm doing in order to like where I'm missing all those coins. So I just kind of play like as much as I can, and then if I have to go and backtrack through other levels to get more coins, then that's what I end up doing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
See, like, you look at this game and you're like, this is what New Super Mario Bros. 2 should have been.
In terms of visual design, yes.
Well, visual design, but also like, yo, you want to make a game about like collecting hundreds of coins, then it's like, oh, just do something like this. Like, make it some kind of creative rather than just, oh, there are lots of coins now.
Am I mistaken for thinking that Mario?
Or it's basically just an empty high score.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. I was gonna ask
You go.
Am I mistaken for thinking that New Super Mario Bros. 2 was one of the anniversary games at some point? Was that an anniversary year, or was that?
I don't recall whether it was an anniversary year. What? Okay. Well, it was the same year the Wii U came out, so I don't think it was.
Okay, because I thought it was either anniversary or maybe year of Luigi.
No, it was 2013.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, because I was just curious because it really felt weird because I always thought it was an anniversary game, so it felt weird for what I'm just gonna say for this point is an anniversary game for like, hey, look at all this money we've got. Like, that's a weird sort of thing to do. Neat gimmick, but just I don't know. It didn't seem like
they didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's just a high score and nothing more.
And it made the game even easier. Like, the game was already pretty easy, but then now you're getting like hundreds of lives.
Yeah, that's the point at which like
they never really balanced that. Yeah.
Well, now that we have Mario Maker 1 and 2, there's kind of no point in them making a 2D Mario anymore.
Yes, but then you see something like New Mario U outsell Mario Maker, or New Mario U Deluxe outsell Mario Maker 2, and then it's like, oh, okay, maybe I don't know, maybe people do want that.
Yeah. Okay. And if that's the case, I'm hoping they would take some of the ideas from Mario Maker and just apply them to the new game.
I mean,
I think the reasoning for what happened sales-wise between the two is, one, it was a Wii U game, so most of the Switch install base is people who didn't buy Wii U, so they're picking up a game they haven't played, and they're probably in the mood for a traditional Mario game. The other is that, especially at launch, Mario Maker 2 was a step back in a lot of regards from Mario Maker 1, so it just kind of felt like a worse product.
I was gonna say, it kind of felt to me, and obviously this is like, I don't really feel this way, but it kind of felt almost like they just kind of, not that they sent it to die, but they intentionally held that one back a little bit from its potential, because it took them essentially like a few months to do any sort of updates, and then they did one more and said, that's the final one, you can do worlds now, bye, don't ask us for anything ever again.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get that you don't really actually want people making their own Mario games, but then
why make the game
Mario
at all?
Maker? Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just that Mario Maker 2 is one of those baffling ones to me that I didn't get how they mucked it all up. Especially since we never got another style besides 3D World.
That glaring empty space to the right of it.
Yeah. God, that's just weird.
Oh, but we'll make Mario 2 Mushroom. Let you play as Mario 2, but not make a Mario 2 mode.
Yeah. No, you can't have levels that have actual exploration. What's wrong with you? But yeah, it's Nintendo's weird. I know that's gonna be the theme of everything we say.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's just
I'm
kind
still
of
hoping for
like
Mario 3D Maker.
it's kind of like I don't know where it's from, but it's like the mom in front and the kid in the back. It's like, why can't you just be normal? It's like Nintendo just screaming in the background.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so weird because I know Art, you just mentioned like a 3D Mario Maker. I know the whole reason they made Mario Maker was supposedly because they just ported their actual level production tool into its own game style. obviously they don't do that with 3D Mario unless it's unless they had a 3D World style that they kept making besides the 2 games. But I feel like if they made a bunch of formulaic Super Mario 3D games, then we might be more likely to see that in the vein of Little Big Planet. But Little Big Planet's so in depth as it is.
Yeah, so that's a little too
you
robust,
might
I
as
think,
well,
for the common people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well just learn Unity or Unreal at that point.
Yeah. I mean, and I would love a 3D World too, for the record. Just throwing
I think
I mean, if you don't want to get copyright struck, then go with Mario Maker.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed 3D World a lot, and I think that it's possible to kind of have both the 3D World style and the Odyssey 2 or what have you, whatever they're gonna end up doing, which I would assume is gonna be an Odyssey 2 based on how well that sold.
how well it sold, and they never did any DLC for it.
Yeah, that's the holdout. Is like, okay, they didn't do anything for that, so then you got to think they said they had so many ideas they didn't use. What happened last time they had ideas they didn't use?
And also,
made Galaxy
and
too.
since they're doing Breath of the Wild 2, then that
Yes.
probably means that they're gonna
Yeah.
like they're not gonna be shy this generation doing sequels. So it's like, yeah, Odyssey 2 is most likely.
Yeah.
But then there's also there's also the elephant of that supposed anniversary collection that may or may not exist.
Yeah, the shadow looming over all of us right now.
Well, I mean, that's just, we want a direct already.
Yeah.
It's like Sony can do 3 state of plays in like 5 months, but you can't do anything in a year.
Yeah. I'm waiting for after this most recent state of play that's coming out this week or next week. I'm waiting for
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay. I'm waiting for people to be like, "Well, what the fuck happened? Why didn't you show any PS5 games?" After they said clearly no PS5 games.
PS5 games.
It's the
Well,
same
they
thing as-
said some small updates for third-party PS5 games.
It's the same direct mini that they did with the partner showcase, but so many
Kind
people
of.
will be less pissed off.
Well, because they were very clear on what it was, rather than just saying it's a partner showcase. Okay, what does that mean? Does that mean high-profile third parties? Is it just small announcements? Is it stuff we already knew? What is it? And then it was like 3/4 just nonsense, and then, hi, here's SMT again.
Yeah.
Well, hey, but at least with there, SMT actually got an official release date, so it's like.
Well, a year.
We have a $15 donation from JD. She's come too far to lose now. Put this all towards Alyssa. So that was JD for $15.
Okay, Lissa is leading by $15 over Takumi.
There you go. So that brings us to $8,037 as of right now.
Nice.
Woo!
Yeah, for an update on the Fire Emblem Warriors bid war, which ends at the end of today. Tiki's at $10, Alyssa's at $85, Mail Ramen's at $60, and Takumi is at $70.
That one did really really well. I didn't realize how many best girl and boy characters there are on Fire Emblem.
Oh no, the most of Takumi's money comes from Ted putting a 50 on it because he doesn't like Takumi.
Okay.
The most money is the Metroid race for Metroid bid war for John.
Yeah. 'Cause John had to stir the pot with that one.
Yeah.
Man, I'm really bad at this timing.
Yeah. So.
It happens.
Ooh. Triforce mentioned a game that would be fun to talk about. How would you guys feel about a Captain Toad 2?
If they
Or, like-
could be more creative about it, then sure.
I think it'd be a good like $30, throw it out
Yeah.
whenever.
Yeah. I'm not against the idea. They just need to do a little bit more with it.
Yeah.
Because Toad 1 is a little too basic
Yeah.
as a
like,
puzzle
it can get-
platformer sort of thing.
it can get tricky, but it's very like it doesn't really do much with its gimmicks after it introduces them. Outside of the Odyssey levels, actually, the Odyssey levels did a pretty good job of kind of hitting that next level that most of the main game didn't.
Yeah.
But I loved Captain Toad. That was a shock of a game for me.
Shake your booty, Wario.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wario.
AE Double says, I want Captain Toad and Smash to represent another Mario character and to annoy everyone who keeps loudly harassing for Waluigi and Gino. I don't want another Mario character, but if they do, I want someone from the RPGs to give that sub-series some love.
Yeah, even if it was Paper Mario,
Yeah.
I'd be cool with it.
Eh,
Like I'd rather it be somebody that more people want, because like I'm at the point where I'm happy. So if you can get Gino, cool. I don't really care. Like
I would prefer Gino or Fawful.
yeah. Oh yeah, Fawful would be really
just
good.
for someone who's really different and not like strictly a
I
Mario
think I
version.
think Fawful would be best. I think he has the most potential. Like I don't care for Gino, and I feel like Gino would just be a like I still don't get Gino.
It's weird, but basically, I'm generally fine with whoever, with 3 exceptions. The F- tier of character choices would obviously be another Fire Emblem character, which thankfully we're almost
More
guaranteed
Fire Emblem.
not to get. The F, like completely height deflating, would be another Mario or Pokemon character.
Yeah, especially as DLC, it'd be kind of.
It's like we don't need any more of either of them right now.
Yeah.
I also don't know how
Yeah.
like I don't know what Pokemon they would even choose now. Like
I mean, that's part of the problem, is that there's no kind of unifying character from Gen 8 that people like to pick from. The other is just, you already have 8 Pokemon in the game, we don't need anymore.
Yeah. I like the idea of the next Pokemon character just being the 600 Pokemon they cut from Sword and Shield, all as one mass.
Yeah,
That's the unifying character.
I guess.
this fucking menu, Fire Emblem.
People are saying Urshifu because it's promoting the DLC. I could see that. But again, we don't need more promotional characters.
Yeah, it's like we can tell at this point when they're adding someone just to be an ad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if they're gonna bring in another Pokemon character, why not a grass type? Because we had very few of those.
Yeah.
I mean, we're missing a lot of type spike technicality, so.
You have
I mean,
Ivysaur.
in terms
Deal
of the
with-
main
stick with
3,
Ivysaur.
grass type is really the only one that's missing.
Yeah. But also, it's kind of the thing where it's like, if we're gonna add a grass type Pokemon, like, it's fine, but do we really need to add one just to have a grass type Pokemon? Like, we have Piranha Plant, we
Fair
have a
point.
grass type Pokemon, and we have that joke character in there, so it's like we really don't need. At a certain point, we don't really need another just to have all the types of Pokemon. Just put them in, just make another Pokken and put it in there.
Yeah.
Like,
If they decide to have another one of them be a slight joke character, who would you want it to be?
A joke character specifically?
Yeah, like a joke character
I
that
would-
would make sense for like as part of the second
I
character
know,
pass.
I know Rivals did it, but Sandbag. I think Sandbag would be like, just make him overpowered, get him banned immediately.
Okay, so a joke character from any series?
Yeah.
I want Steve Minecraft.
That was always the one to me. It's like, just make him a skin. Like,
Yeah,
you can make
he
him a
works
meat
much
skin.
better as a Mii costume than an actual character.
Yeah.
Just make him a Mii sword fighter and he's good.
I feel like that, especially after Cuphead and Vault Boy and Sans, I feel like that has to almost be an inevitability.
But potentially, if Microsoft were to get another character, it would be Master Chief, not
Or
Yeah.
Master Chief.
not
Some-
Steve
somebody's-
from Minecraft.
Somebody said Goomba Tower.
Fucking
love
Dr.
Goomba
Goomba Tower. Who in the
That'd be
Mushroom
amazing.
Kingdom gave the fucking mushrooms in a trench coat a PhD?
God.
God damn it. That was a waste. I mean, do it again. Do it again.
The real question is, Doom Guy as a fighter or Doom Guy as a Mii fighter? Says somebody in chat.
Doom Guy can work. Doom Guy can work as a
Yeah.
character.
And,
People who say like violence. It's like, well, one Bayonetta is really violent. She's still in the game.
Yeah.
The other is he uses mostly futuristic weapons. You could just have him use like the blaster pistol and energy
Yeah.
weapons.
Okay, so are we going for realistic choices now?
Yeah, I think we just kind of
Sure.
diverged. a
I mean,
little
in
bit.
terms of non-jokey characters?
Yeah. I mean, I have I have a list of 5 that I would prefer if I got all the choices for the remaining fighters fast. But you can go first, Hero.
Okay, well, someone from Team Fortress 2. That's not gonna happen, but...
I would be fine with
I want
Heavy.
that. Yep, and actually, I would... Actually, slightly more realistic, I would want someone from Streets of Rage. Maybe,
Okay.
like Skate, or possibly... Yeah, basically any Streets of Rage character.
Cool. My 5, if given the choices for the remaining 5, which I know aren't all realistic choices, would be Shantae, Travis Touchdown, Doom Guy, Crash, and Soul Bad Guy from Guilty Gear.
Okay.
Let's say yeah. There's no one. There's no one like I really feel like I absolutely want or need at this point. It's just probably Crash and or Spyro, but yeah, mostly Crash because he's most likely.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, I do have wishful characters to get in, but I don't really care. I'm perfectly fine with the roster as is.
I still kind of want one of my picks to get in just to feel a little bit better because while I certainly enjoy a lot of the DLC and just kind of the general newcomer picks, whether they be K. Rool or Joker from Persona 5, they weren't strictly characters I personally was asking for. The only kind of one I got was Castlevania.
Yeah.
But I play them and it's like they're really kind of not like bottom tier, but they're not super good.
Yeah.
What about
See,
Banjo?
I kind of just want one character that suits my taste.
Yeah. For me, like the only one I have left really is just Travis Touchdown, and I feel like I don't know, this is gonna age poorly, I'm sure, but I feel like he's in. I feel
like the timing's too perfect.
Like I think. I don't know. Suda's a troll, but when Suda posted the picture with Sakurai, right after Travis Strikes Again released, it just felt like, all right, yeah, no, that's probably a thing.
Between that and No More Heroes 3 coming, and apparently I guess some ratings board just rated No More Heroes 1 on Switch, it's like, okay, this is a little too good of a timing to just not have him be in Smash.
Yeah. There's no reason not to at that point because Nintendo's involved in publishing 3. I'm pretty sure because they Suda, I think Suda paid the licensing fee to Marvelous, I believe.
I think so.
Something to that tune. So because Marvelous isn't involved, it's the Shenmue 3 situation. Marvelous isn't involved with No More Heroes 3 or Travis Strikes Again, I don't think. But Marvelous will be publishing 1 and I'm assuming 2 on Switch then, leading up to it because free money.
And then Travis Touchdown gets announced. Another sword fighter.
Well, no one has a problem with sword fighters.
Yeah, I
it's just
know.
that they all came from Fire Emblem.
Yeah, it's more the issue of Fire Emblem, really. And even
he's got a sword. You idiots!
Yeah.
We've all got swords. Get him.
And even then, most of the Fire Emblem characters that are there are just clones of each other.
Yeah, I mean, I would still say this to this day, Corrin's the bigger problem than Byleth.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I was actually okay with Byleth.
Yeah, if Corrin wasn't done last game, Byleth wouldn't be a problem.
Yes, yeah, because Corrin was blatant, like much more blatant advertising. Because I don't even believe Fates was out yet in the West by the time Corrin
It was out by like 2 months in Japan, and it was not out in the West yet.
Yeah, and whereas like Three Houses seems very much like it was one of those where they had Byleth in development before Three Houses hit. Obviously, it's still an advertisement, but also Sakurai actually seemed invested.
Yeah, Sakurai really likes.
I don't have a problem with Corrin being in there because he's one of the more unique ones. But there are just so many other characters from Fire Emblem that are just more unique.
And also Three Heroes, at least from what I've heard, is more. I think it's been more like highly like successmore and like popular than
easily.
No, Fates was not a popular game.
Three Houses.
Yeah, and even then, more people were asking for. Even then, the people who really like Three Houses are asking for anyone other than Byleth.
Well, and the problem was if you gave it to any one character from Three Houses,
the other fans of the characters were going to get pissed off.
Like because
Byleth was the only real choice.
Yeah, you knew it wasn't going to be Dimitri, but it could have been Edelgard. It could have even been Claude as a ranged character. But having Byleth have all 3 special weapons from each of the houses, I was hoping that they would do it as like not a stand character, but sort of like how Sly Cooper in PlayStation All Stars, he has Murray as his super. You could just like it would be hard to do in Smash Bros, but you have like your neutral B is Byleth pops behind you and fires an arrow. And pretty much as soon as they showed off, he's just firing the arrow himself. That's cool.
Yeah. They did him about as well as he reasonably could.
Yeah, and they made sure he wasn't just another swordsman for the most part.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Pokemon trainer, go for it.
Yeah, he just throws a ball and like Edelgard pops down and goes, Adel. It's like, go, my students.
Mount Lava. I feel like that was a name of something in another Mario game.
I mean, Fate sold well because it was coming off of Awakening, but its popularity and reception-wise, it's one of the weaker since it started coming to the West.
Especially over time, and doubly so because they did the Pokemon release one game 2 different ways, and then 3 different ways with the final true story.
Yeah, and all of them kind of suck.
I understood why they tried it that way, but the whole thing was that game was announced as one game, and then later
It
properly
became
announced
multiple
as,
versions, and you kind of gotta play both if you want to get the most out of the content out of it.
And then meanwhile, Three Houses is essentially like 2.5 full games because of the first half of the game is pretty much close to the same. But then after that, you have very different stories going forward for the other 3.5 stories.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like they went back and it's sort of an apology tour kind of thing. And yeah. And I was more than cool with that because I mean, there's so much you can get out of Three Houses.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that I don't like Fire Emblem, but I love Three Houses. I don't know.
Three Houses, I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship in some regards. If only because I'm someone who played a lot of the older Fire Emblem games that came out over here, like Path of Radiance, where I certainly appreciate saying, oh, you can customize characters to be more varied classes, so they're not pigeonholed into being. It's like, oh, if you like a character, they don't have to be a mage if you don't like using mages or what have you. But I feel that comes too much at the cost of map design.
Yeah, the maps in Three Houses are the weakest part, even as somebody who hasn't really played much.
Yeah,
of the
so it's like there are things I like about Three Houses for sure, but I feel the things that make it unique and interesting also come with major drawbacks.
Yeah, it definitely. And I think for Fire Emblem purists, for lack of a better word, it's definitely like it's a different kind of game than for what a lot of the target audience was for Three Houses, which was not the purists, because they I guess they saw the opportunity of like, hey, what if we did Persona, guys?
I mean, basically.
Sold.
Yeah. And I mean, credit to them, it worked.
For the most part.
I can see where you're coming from, absolutely.
There's the enemy. There's the gold enemy. Get him.
So the gold enemies, I'm assuming, are worth money when you defeat them, like a lot more.
Yeah, well, you attack them. Come on, get down. Yeah, you attack them, then you shake them, and you get like a shitload of money. Because normally, regular enemies you don't actually get coins out of. And then also you kill them. Oh crap! I didn't kill it. You also have to kill the gold enemy, and you get an achievement. But
Okay.
yeah, but that they give you so it's both money and achievement. So keep forgetting.
Do we have any new donations in the time?
Nothing yet.
Gotcha.
Die.
It is starting to storm here, so if I go out, that's why.
Thunder, rain, and lightning.
Thunder, rain, and lightning.
It's us!
Yes.
A guy comes up on stage and explosions, goes, "Fuck you, here's Wario."
I mean, I'd be like,
Yeah, and it's just Wario busting through the wall in a T-pose.
So here's an interesting question, trying to be related to this game. What would you want to see Goodfield do next?
Just in other
something
games.
not arts and crafts.
All right, at the start, yeah.
I mean, I would like another 2D game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
I
think
mean,
they're
the
gonna do
2D
it.
hand-drawn game.
Yeah, I think a
Yeah.
game in this style. It doesn't have to be a Wario Land game, but I think a game in this style, I would be really happy to see. Like, I'm trying to think of like, well, what's a good Nintendo franchise that would fit.
They could do a Metroid in this style pretty well, like visually, like a very stylized Metroid. I know it doesn't really fit the dark atmosphere that Metroid tends to have, but I think you could do it really well because this game has really great use of like front layer lighting effects, like even right where you are now on the stream, you can see like that little glowing effect of the underground, probably lava.
I mean, you can go for a comic book effect.
Or Triforce 141 brought up the idea like doing kind of a Zelda 2 style game looking like this.
Yeah, that would work. That would very much work. And then someone else said, Marco's Base said Kid Icarus. That would work. Kid Icarus would be really good in this style, actually. It'd be like a perfect fit. It's weird. I don't really have an attachment to Kid Icarus, so it's like, if people want it, cool. It's like, not for me. I really don't have much that I can say to it.
I mean, I'd rather have a sequel to Uprising that actually uses
Yeah.
twin sticks instead of a gimmicky control sequence.
Yeah, that I would like to try Uprising, but I'm not going to because I fear for my hands.
I mean, I would like to have motion aiming. What can Chris do?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm-
10 Elements and possibly a super remake. It's tough because if you don't get it perfect, then
You're gonna piss people off, and
Yeah.
you're gonna have no reason to make it. It's kind of like the undertaking Capcom's doing with remaking Resident Evil 4. It's like that game's about as close to perfect as you can get.
yeah, that's the one I don't get. There's no reason
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, you're better off just making an
unless they
original
ju-
game rather than.
Unless they just said we're gonna remake Resident Evil 4, but it's going to be like exactly the same. We're just updating the visuals,
Which
which
yeah,
would be fine. It's like that's all you have to do.
which would make sense also because they've released that game on 45 systems and smart fridges. So I don't see why you have to release another version of Resident Evil 4 on systems that will already have it. Because I don't think it's the next gen exclusive. I'm sure that's on PS4.
It's on it's on PS4. It's on Xbox One. It's on Switch.
Yeah. So it's
It's on PC. So
yeah, but like remaking Super, it's just tough because either you have to make it exactly the same, or you have to kind of go the Final Fantasy VII remake and intentionally make it slightly different. Which, at least for me, I'm fine with that Resident Evil / Final Fantasy style of remaking a game to fit the current style of gaming because it's your own interpretation of an older style game. There's nothing wrong with that. You still have the original if you want the original.
sort of, but you also have to consider the fact that Super Nintendo and early PS1 games visually, I mean Super Nintendo more so than PS1, but you have a lot of games that have visually aged very poorly.
Yes, and the thing is, Super Metroid's not one of them. For Super
Yeah,
Nintendo.
so Super Metroid could
Yeah.
get away with that, but it's like, while I very much enjoyed 7 Remake in a lot of regards, there is a justifiable reason to say I kind of just want the same game but actually looking pretty.
Yeah, no, it's fair. It's I see it both ways because it's fair, but also I understand why it actually just wasn't feasible for them to do that, considering how much time they put into the original design of the 7 remake from what we gathered.
It's hard to say because considering it's still Tetsuya Nomura and he has this fetish for action RPGs, even though
Yeah,
you have, the Bravely Defaults and Octopath made by other teams at Square Enix, and those still sell obscenely well, and it's like, there's clearly an audience for turn-based old school RPGs, so there's no reason why you couldn't have done that, other than Nomura doesn't like it.
yeah, and then the other side of it is, I mean, Bravely Default and Octopath both sell well, and then you see Final Fantasy VII Remake being the fastest-selling PS game ever for a little while.
Well,
But
it's
that's
like,
Final Fantasy, so
it's Final Fantasy VII.
yeah, it's
That
specifically
you could have made it exactly as the same as original Final Fantasy VII, just made it super pretty, and it still would have sold the same amount of numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I respect them for taking the idea and like saying, hey, look, if we just remade the same game, then we wouldn't have wanted to do it. I very much respect that honesty.
Yeah.
Because it's like, when you remake a film, you don't remake the exact same film. You do your own thing with it. And obviously it doesn't work for a lot of modern remakes, but then there are a lot of classic remakes of more classic films that have worked just fine with their own interpretation.
Yeah, it all depends.
I think part of that is just because a lot of the classic remakes of older, even more classic films is just that older, more classic films don't hold up super well, as people like to think.
And pacing issues are rampant with older films because you're getting what you pay for time-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of other times, most remake, I think remakes of of movies, especially classic ones, don't seem like to hold up as well, unless they're like you said, they're doing their own thing. Like say, I don't know, it's what was it? God damn it, why am I? Miracle on 34th Street, let's say for example, that one's a that one has 2 or 3 different versions of it, but they both do it in such a different not such a different way, but in their own way that that people don't mind that they're a remake. But then you have something like say, we're remaking Psycho and we're doing it literally the exact same way, then people are like, then what's the point?
Yeah. And it's sort of a thing I just lost my train of thought.
Somebody put in the comments the Karate Kid remake. Karate Kid, that's a good version of one that kind of takes the spirit of the original, but gives it its own spin, so it doesn't just feel like a straight copy.
Yeah.
Well, that's honestly regarding the Karate Kid remake. That's almost like an entirely different movie that they'd slap the name on.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of what I
Damn
was
it.
gonna say,
All right,
but I'm drawing a
great.
blank.
Not gonna bother about that.
I don't know. We're just kind of at the point both. I mean, film's been there for a while where
Yeah.
you don't need to remake things because the classics you would remake are more than viewable even today.
Yeah.
So there's kind of
Yeah.
no need to. Whereas gaming, we're at the point where you can remake PS1 and 64 and earlier games for various reasons, whether they technically didn't work or it's early 3D and they look like crap, especially now.
Yeah.
So there's kind of a reason to where once you get to PS2 onwards, you don't really need to.
That's where the hardware gap kind
Unless
of.
you're unless you're like, say, if you want to rematch, like there's a reason why like 4, 5, and 6 of Resident Evil have been re-released a lot, but they haven't actually changed it. They've basically just been porting it over.
Yeah.
Like, and there really is, because 4 is still such a solid of a game that it would be weird to see them do like give the 2 and 3 remake treatment, because it's like 4 is already like technically solid enough that it would just seem like kind of pointless to.
Yeah, it's like not to say games from that era, the PS2 GameCube era, don't have some jank to them. They certainly do. It's just
It's
in order to remake them, you would need to figure out a way to make it more interesting than just
Yeah.
kind of just doing the same thing
It's-
again, because
yeah,
we still do those things today.
Yeah. It's not like
Yeah,
tank
'cause I'm
controls.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, what if you remake 4, but do it in style of the style of 7 and Beyond, like they did with the Resident Evil remake?
Oh, like, okay. That's
Okay.
a little, okay. That's a little different. Yeah, I could very much see them doing 4 in the style of 2 remake. It would be interesting. I don't, if they take it in, I don't know, because I don't think that 4 is really a horror game. Like it's just kind of a. That's obviously where they went more to the action style, whereas like the original games are meant to be survival horror. If they went and made 4 more of a survival horror game and emphasis on the horror part, it can work, but it's
You kind of lose the charm of what made 4 in the first place.
yeah, like at a certain point, like if they want to do their own interpretation of it, that's fine. But then why are they also simultaneously releasing 4 on every fucking platform?
Like the genius behind 4 is that the beginning is still very survival horror when you're still just rocking, just your base pistol and knife. And they can, back then it's like, oh, we finally have, 30 enemies chasing after you and that sort of tense atmosphere to it. But they cleverly recognized that in Resident Evil and kind of Metroid exploratory games in general is that after the first area and you start getting your first upgrades, nothing's really a threat anymore. So after that first kind of area, it's like, okay, you're getting upgrades, you're getting more powerful, you're not scared anymore, so let's change tone.
Yeah. Which I appreciate that it went for that, because it kind of reminds me, I mean, obviously of sort of a Vania kind of thing, but also of, what's the name? Dying Light. Because Dying Light had that thing where, my buddy has said this before, it starts out as a survival horror game, and then by the end of the game, it's like you feel yourself becoming more powerful in-game as you're getting used to the mechanics, and it changes genres mid-game, almost. Or sub-genres, rather.
It makes you feel like John Resident Evil.
We do have 2 more donations. We have
Awesome.
$5 from Ian Bowe. I think the biggest problem that I had with Violet's announcement was that the trailer was just bad. It felt very weirdly paced with the dialogue parts, Morgana and a plank of Violet, and it told us who it was immediately. Put this to Advance 3.
Okay, so $5 to Advance 3. Let me find that.
Sure. And then, while you are doing that, we have $5 more from Malictory. Man, this Wario game looks so great and stylized. I think I found the perfect thing to request to shake things up. A Sonic song. Can Mr. Ryan recite, not sing, some of the lyrics to the Silva Gunner version of Pumpkin Hill in the sleepiest voice he can muster? You don't have to know the song, just have fun with it. I hope. I think. Maybe.
I don't know that one at all, sorry.
I have a link for you if you want to do a spoken word rendition.
I can try if it's like the lyrics so I don't have to listen to it.
Yep, I have the lyrics. I'm going to post them in the general
Okay.
chat for you.
And yeah, I can agree on the Violet thing. His reveal was just really bad.
Yeah, it was a really stunted. That was probably the worst reveal they did of Ultimate.
Yeah.
That I can think of, at least. I'm maybe drawing a blank somewhere.
I did like Morgana in it.
I mean, Morgana, yeah. Like, the only joke anyone was able to really get out of it that was, you know, male Byleth walking back. It's like, what's that, too many swordsmen? Well, what will you do? And then he just becomes female Byleth, and then just someone might, like, becoming a woman, I'm not sure how that's going to help. But, okay, so a bored, sleepy voice of this?
Yes, that's what they asked.
Okay. Yeah, you know me, the coconut freak donkey, and we're at Pumpkin Hill. You ready, I guess? Ain't gonna let it get to me. I ain't gonna let it get to me. Down at Pumpkin Hill, I got to search. Know that's here, I think. I feel the Great Emerald's power, or maybe. I can't see a thing, but it's around here somewhere. Maybe, I think. This probably seems crazy graveyard theory, but I think my lost piece around here somewhere. Kind of talking through the valley, crying pumpkin in the alley. Ghost tried to approach me in the alley. He got scared because we're in the alley. And he's hearing someone say something scary. And now I'm hearing someone saying, bitch you. But I had to be the wind because the bean wasn't there. I heard and I searched 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 and I searched. And I let it get to me. I'm just gonna let it get to me. Down to Pumpkin Hill, I got spaff. I don't know that it's here. I don't sense it in my feet. Great Emerald's power is bullcrap. I can't see a thing. I'm just gonna die. Gonna hold my head. I'm scared of the bean. It probably seems crazy graveyard theory, but I think I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully that did it for you.
I don't even know what that was words, I think.
Really good job on that yawn. That yawn sold it so well.
I try.
Someone said Knuckles is like in court or something.
Kind of, I would sort of.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm at that point where I know after I finish World 3, I'm probably gonna have to do some grinding to get World 4.
Woo.
Oh yeah, the price is really
They're
skyrocketing.
Yeah, they
for
really
45.
skyrocket.
Ooh.
Yeah. Also, to go back, I really like that last boss fight where as soon as he was at his last, and he was just on his leg drunk. Like, man, he had some legs.
Grinding in a Wario game? Yes.
I'm gonna put a request out because I see Kirby Air Rider just said something amazing. So it's Law and Order and Knuckles. If that's not an image someone's made yet, please God.
Shung.
I need Law and Order and Knuckles.
Yeah, it's just like them walking down the hallway at the end of the intro, and just Knuckles is there in like a suit. Yeah, just Knuckles is in a suit. Knuckles in a suit when he's like has like a file on him.
It's dun 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 dun.
I call a new witness. I call a new witness to the stand. Oh no.
That's so good. Okay, so Goldstorm said it exists, and Malictory's on it either way. So either way, we will get Law and Order and Knuckles sooner than later. So thank you. Knuckles and Knuckles Ace Attorney. Oh, that's one I want in Smash. Phoenix Wright. That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one.
Phoenix is weird in that we kind of did the joke with him already in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and it's like, not saying he couldn't work in Smash, but it's like, it's kind of just a joke at this point of him being in fighting games.
Yeah, and that's fair.
And if we were to get another Capcom character, I can think of a few others I think would work better in that
also
regard.
Fair. Yeah, because we do have a lot of Capcom characters already. So that's very fair as well.
Yeah, so not saying Phoenix would be a bad choice. I just think he's kind of a
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Gotta go with Dante.
Okay. Also, if I want a draw character for Smash, I'm gonna go with Sazan. No, I'm not.
Somebody said, "How about Leighton in Smash?" I know a lot of people. I don't have any experience with Leighton, but
I don't have any experience with Leighton, but I wouldn't say no.
Yeah, level 5 could use some good representation in Smash. They deserve it for all the work they do.
Yeah, so he wouldn't be a pick for me, but I wouldn't be like against him or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Besides, I'd rather have Raymond be in Smash.
Raymond.
Yeah.
No. Oh no, the other Raymond.
Everybody loves
Blue Dino.
Rayman.
Blue Dino asked what else is level 5 done. They did Dark Cloud, Ni no Kuni, Yokai Watch. They did a few of the Dragon Quest games for Square. I think 8 and one other one. I know 8. I always forget which one. But they've done a lot of stuff. They're really prolific as developers. On top of late.
And they own Concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now they own Concept, so we could get Beck in Smash.
I'd rather not.
If we got Beck before any other Kickstarter characters, I'd be so sad.
Yeah, of all the Kickstarter characters, Shovel Knight is probably.
If you're gonna do one, it's got to be Shovel Knight.
If any indie characters have any chance, the only 3 I could see being prolific enough to be on Nintendo's radar, there's only 3: Shantae, Shovel Knight, and Hollow Knight.
Yeah, and even then, Hollow Knight's the outsider, one of those 3, I would say.
Yeah, I could see the Knight being a Mii costume.
What about Ukulele?
No.
Robo, yes, Shovel Knight is an assist trophy.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing kind of going against him. So that's why I'm saying it's like if there's an indie character, it's probably going to be Shantae at this point.
Yeah.
What about that gray cat from Animal Crossing?
Oh, that Raymond. Okay.
No.
It took me a second because
I don't play Animal Crossing, so
I played it for a month for New Horizons, and then I just hit a certain point that I had enough fun, and now I don't ever want to play it again. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not that much of an Animal Crossing fan, but I'm just fascinated by this character.
Yeah.
Joy, someone in the comments asked why Hollow Knight specifically. It's because it is a prolific enough a game that it has the notoriety beyond just being the indie scene.
Yeah.
The other is just that there's kind of this weird situation where it's a lot of other Metroidvanias are taking cues from it on how it designs themselves, which could potentially bleed over into other Metroid development sort of things.
Yeah, I see someone said they want Quote, but then Nicholas, and
Nicholas. I was gonna say I wouldn't mind Quote if it wasn't for
Yeah.
Nicholas kind of being the problem in that.
Yeah, they have a whole string of issues.
Damn. Cave Story.
It goes so much beyond Cave Story. Like
I know all the Nicholas.
Yeah, I mean, Chris worked on a video with a buddy of ours about how much stuff they've done about lying about release dates, taking money to publish and then never releasing games on certain platforms and never mentioning them. 90s Arcade Racer. I've told the story once before about how their president got into a Twitter argument with me because I reviewed one of their games, and they got the publishing rights to this one Steam game, and it was a $10 game. And as soon as it became their property, they raised the price to $30 because it was 2017, and they knew they could get on the shelf as a Switch game. So I pointed out, hey, this game used to be $10. It's kind of a dick move that they now made it $30 for no actual reason other than that it's on Switch. And he tried to fight that.
Fight me IRL.
It's just weird because like, dude, you're the president of a company.
You have better things to do.
Yeah, like I'm nobody. Why are you talking to me?
You're fighting with the Golden Bolt. You probably swim in gold.
God.
What? He's probably challenging you to a boxing match.
VTN Wesley is asking, was it an undervalued game or something? No, because it was sort of a Shovel Knight sort of thing at one point where it was supposed to have 4 separate chapters, like 4 episodes to it. And they had 2 of them done and then held the other 2 back for 6 months before releasing it on Switch first. And that kind of felt cheap, but also they made it $30 specifically to get on shelf at Switch shelves for GameStops and I think even Walmart. It's nothing against like the physical case. They put some goodies in there. It would have been worth $30 for the goodies if you liked the game. It was just the problem that it was very transparent that they were going for that first year Switch push and tripling the price of a game that really, it's not like Shovel Knight where they changed the mechanics significantly. They just added levels and they weren't that good. So it's weird.
Yeah, the Switch tax, so to speak.
Yeah, it was their own version of the Switch tax. And just like Shovel Knight, I didn't love that they upped the price a third time, but they have every right to with how much game they've added in. Like, because that game was $15, then it became $25. Now it's $40, and
you're also getting like 4 campaigns in it now.
Yeah, 4 and a
Yeah.
fighting game campaign. Like,
so you're getting like $10 per game, really.
yeah, and honestly, that's more than fair for that game because they did so much to change everything. Whereas in the game that I'm talking about, which was oh, what's the name? Shit. Tiny Barbarian. It was Tiny Barbarian. What they didn't do a significant enough amount of things to change that game to justify the price jump.
Fair enough.
I love in this game how there's like weird stuff like this where you can just have Wario and just smoke up.
God, this again, this art style.
Wasn't that the power up in one of the other WarioWare games? No, Wario Land games.
Someone saying that's from Wario Land 2 through 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so that's a regular power up. It's just
Do we have any more donations?
Let
or?
me double check.
Money.
We do not. It just updated the number, so we might have one in a minute, or that might be a late update.
Flaming
Right.
Wario.
So I will double check in a moment.
Gotcha.
Wario is pretty flaming, am I right, yo?
This
Get
game
off the
really is so
stage.
fucking pretty. Like, I'm mesmerized looking at this game.
yeah.
Yeah, it has a lot of things going for it. It's just a shame it didn't do super well.
Yeah. Damn you, Wii.
Yeah, I still say the Wii did more damage than Nintendo likes to admit it did.
I would agree with you especially because it made them confident going into the Wii U.
It didn't make them confident, it made them arrogant.
Yeah, no, arrogant's a better word. I agree with there. Thinking that, I mean, and the worst part is they kind of did preempt the tablet market by they tried to. They announced it, and it was like, oh, it's a tablet, cool. And then tablets really blew up in the interim between the
And
announcement
the problem is you couldn't take the tablet anywhere.
Yeah,
It's tied to the box sitting in your living room,
Yeah.
so it's like it's not really a tablet then.
Yeah, like and the Switch would not have been possible back then, frankly. Like, so they were kind of rock and hard place with the idea for it, but still, it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Nintendo advertised Wii Music over this game. God,
Yeah, that must have
That
been
hurts.
or something.
that hurts.
Yeah, well, Wario has a problem with because it's hard. You can't press down. It's so hard to press down and left on the Wii.
Oh, the Wiimote.
You can do it. It's just really hard to. So,
Yeah. This is
come
the
on.
problem. I was
Maybe
running
you're
into.
supposed to come back here later?
No, you're supposed to do this.
It's just hard to do the controls.
This was one of the things I had issue with in Punch Out Wii when I accidentally dodged the wrong direction when I'm trying to like duck.
Yeah, come on.
Why can't Metroid Wario crawl? I agree. Okay, we did have another $5 donation. It's $5 from Subaki Paradox. Howdy, folks. Saw we hit 8K. Thanks to everyone for the support, and of course the runners and commentators. Put this to Rondo of Blood because reasons.
So $5 from Spucky Paradox.
Yep. And then they also say, hey, Golden Bolt, to put you on the pedestal again, and sorry if this was awkward already. What video of yours would you recommend, or anybody's really? There's a bunch of great content creators out there that deserve more attention. I don't want to gas myself up too much, but it depends on what you're looking for me, because I've done a bunch of different styles of analytical videos over the last few years that I've been doing this. Most recently, I've done a really long retrospective on The Legend of Dragoon, the 2000 Sony RPG that tried to rip off Final Fantasy VII, but was also really good and really bad and really good. But I've done stuff like talking about the PlayStation All-Stars development history and interviewing developers. And I've done other videos here and there. Like I just put out a Paper Mario ranking video where I talked about every game in the series, and that's like 45 minutes because I'm insane. But there's a lot of stuff that you can take a look at, both old and new. It's all going to be about the same, outside of the fact that my voice will be a little more expressive now that I've learned how to publicly speak. But rather than me, I would rather talk about other creators like Chris, for example, because Chris makes really great videos about Sega Ages games, the up and coming newer games that aren't getting much coverage, stuff like that. I'd rather raise up my buddies than me because they deserve it just as much, if not more. So you'll always see me on Twitter retweeting all of my buddies and anybody that I feel deserves as much of an extra platform as whatever little platform I have can give them. So yeah. But thank you for asking. I appreciate the kind words.
There's a content creator I really love that I feel like he deserves more recognition. They're called the Real James. They're known for analysis of Simpsons, specifically Simpsons stuff, and then also some Pixar reviews. And they're some of like the best and most well thought out like Simpsons and Pixar reviews I've ever seen. So if you're a fan of either of those two, he's definitely worth checking out.
Okay, that's really cool. Like I'm guessing it's like from a super fan perspective, kind of like diving into really good depth.
Yeah, he goes like he has like his 30-second, like, oh no, not 30-second, a minute-long reviews where he very quickly reviews an episode of The Simpsons in like a minute. He'll do like a longer analysis where he goes over like the episode in more detail in about like 10 minutes. Then he has he's been doing retrospectives, going over every season and be like, what makes this season of The Simpsons stand out from all the rest of them. Then he's been doing character analysis, like going through the evolution of a character throughout like the entire like throughout the whole series, like from like the original run to up to like the modern age, and seeing how they've changed and just like what their differences are. And so yeah, he goes like such like, and it's the fact that he doesn't just focus on like classic Simpsons and goes into like the more modern and shows like how they've changed and like what interesting stuff has gone on in that modern age as well.
Yeah, rather than, again, that's kind of what we said yesterday, like rather than just tearing down the new stuff, like what new stuff works, kinda. Mm-hmm. Which I always like when you're kind of taking that approach of trying to turn it into some sort of positive, because we need more of that. Ryan and Art, what about you guys? Do you have any videos or projects or creators you guys want to talk about, either of yours or anybody else?
Really, I mostly kind of stick to my friends. The only one I can think of who is still kind of somehow stuck on an even lower subscribers threshold than I am is HC Bailey. Which I'm kind of like, we started after him, and somehow BSC, despite being stagnant and not getting subscribers in like 3 years, is still at a higher subscriber count than he is. And HC Bailey does like super in-depth, like major 100% walkthroughs of like big RPGs and stuff.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and then there's also like the big people that we don't really need to recommend, but like Kedicarus and Scott the Waz, who are like, they both make like amazing stuff that I'm always rewatching.
Yeah.
Scott's funny because I met him at TMG last year without really even knowing who he was.
Yeah, no,
that was his first convention. He was just kind of clearly deer in headlights about it.
Yeah, he's a really humble dude. Like he's really kind.
He was just really weirded out. It's like, people actually want to come out and see me. It's like, yes, that's why you're a guest here.
Yeah,
he completely Well, I mean, like, I think by now we're just seeing like the reactions and stuff he's been getting from people. I think now he's finally figured out like, okay, I'm kind of a thing now, and so I gotta be careful on what's going on.
Well, and there's got to be a lot of imposter syndrome to something like that. I mean, he's younger than me, which shocked me because I'm like.
Well, I think it's mostly just stemmed from the fact that he's probably the newest out of the gaming YouTubers who have been popular.
Yeah.
He came much later than us, and you're not supposed to be able to get that big that fast in this day and age of content creators.
Just completely broke YouTube with his like, he's fascinating from an analytical perspective, which I do that stuff for another thing that I work on. I work on a YouTubers, which is this content creator community. We're the largest one in the world now, actually. And I started it around the time that I started my channel, just because no one really gives each other advice. Like at a certain point, you kind of start like getting into like a certain crew and like you can talk with each other, but to get that initial push is so hard nowadays because nobody tells you anything.
Well, nobody tells you anything, and the market's super oversaturated.
Yes, yeah. So it's been fun watching him from an analytics perspective and kind of like just looking at all like how what made his videos tick. It's always fascinating.
And the problem is when you go into that is it's like, oh, this is what works. It's like, just because it worked for Scott does not mean it will at all work. Yeah. You can do the exact same thing he did, and it just won't work.
Yeah, and because there's always that huge luck factor to it as well.
That's That's entertainment in general, and no one in the entertainment
100%.
industry ever wants to tell you that.
Yeah, and there's nothing. It's not an algorithm in that case. Like it is luck to some extent, even with the algorithms
It's
adding
like you
another.
can be the greatest writer on the planet, and it doesn't matter what book you publish if it's not for the right publisher at the right time.
Yeah,
Yep.
and even then, his whole thing on top of that is like he has such like a different like approach that most people aren't used to, which is like either it's a full on comedy sketch or it's a full deep analysis toward a certain topic. But he manages to combine both like fairly seamlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you have like the video one example. I'm trying to think of like the perfect example. I know it could be the PlayStation the PlayStation versus Xbox 360 thing where he goes like very in depth about like the history between the Xbox 360 and PS3, even like going over like certain things that I either I completely forgot about or wouldn't think to bring up. But he's like, oh yeah, this is a major aspect in like the console war and like between what happened between these two studios. But then also just throws in like really hilarious jokes on top of it.
The best way I can describe Scott is he's the millennial version to Gen X's AVGN.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is that sort of, I don't even want to say next generation because he just kind of did his own thing. Like he took inspiration, you can tell, but he also did his own thing. So we're going to see creators that are taking inspiration from him and whoever else in this current generation we haven't even seen come up yet. Because it's interesting. Art, did you have anybody that you wanted to toss in?
Not really. Most of the people I can think of are already huge, like Denver Toolkit, who have close to a million, and maybe a few channels that are a little bit more. But I was.
Why the fuck? What angle? What am I doing wrong? I pressed the button.
This is painful.
I don't know what you're supposed to do.
Can you jump and throw?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Oh, Trigger has the same question.
Okay, so.
Oh, God, sorry.
Okay, so to strike from the madness, I think the only person I recommend who has like under 50 subscribers, 50,000, under 50,000 subscribers is a guy called Steve M who goes deep into Japanese anime, like not even like the typical mainstream otaku stuff, but more or less goes into like art house anime more, and he's even done a few of them on Japanese devs, including one of Nintendo's best artists, and
doing anime coverage. Sorry, go on.
I mean, I would say, I think I find his work more interesting. That makes me care about some of the anime on here. At least when it comes to something a little bit more interesting than the mainstream stuff. But
because I was just gonna say, anime coverage is even worse than gaming coverage on YouTube because that's even more dictated by algorithms.
Yeah, it's so tough.
If you are not the like a top 5 franchise or whatever the hot new season show is that current anime season, you do not get any traction at all covering anime.
Yeah, because the thing is like with games, it's fascinating with games because. Again, not to talk about my own video, but like that Legend of Dragoon video is my best performing video yet. And it took a while, like it took like about 5 to 10 days to actually start doing anything. And then just because Legend of Dragoon was oddly so niche, anyone who had ever watched a Legend of Dragoon video started getting it recommended to them. And that's kind of how it started in that case. And it's like one of those games that shouldn't have done well on YouTube at all. But then it did well to the tune of, in my case, like 200,000 views somewhere thereabouts right now, and it's slowing down now. But
yeah,
wild that game of all games would do it.
It also on top of that for at the anime side, most of the attention seems to go for direct anime clips rather than analysis itself. I get notified so much by just simply clips and compilations of stuff from certain anime.
It's just the weirdest thing is that to this day, like with a few exceptions, for as much as people search for like anime openings and endings, companies just don't put it up on their own channels.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so.
It's like
gotta be
they
a
would
licensing
make so much money just doing that from ad clicks alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of I pretty much bet it's one of the
Crunchyroll and
reasons why
Funimation do that.
Yeah.
But
Well, Funimation occasionally does it.
I know all of Crunchyroll series they put that on, but like Aniplex, I know they posted the Kaguya-sama season 2 opening, and I think they said limited run, but I'm like, why are you putting a limited run on YouTube? Like, what's the point of that? Like the only for the opening.
Well, I mean, fuck Aniplex in general, but
Too much money.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that is kind of the reason why Stephen has very few subscribers, because the type of anime he dives into are a lot more art house anime, and not really Dragon Ball or My Hero Academia levels. It's more like
he's doomed to not get much attention.
Yeah, which I'm guessing is sort of a thing out of like the want to do it as a hobby. Like obviously, I'm sure it's a thing where like you want it to be if you can make it a career, amazing. But if you're doing it because you love it, then the numbers don't matter as much.
Here's another thing that people who work in entertainment will never tell you: you have to do it as a hobby first.
Yes, 100%.
You are never going to go into working in film or TV or writing or game making just as a career to start with. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, like the way that I've always my personal mantra has been, take at least a year or two, consider that investment, because you're investing your time, you're investing a lot of money into equipment at a certain point when it comes to like YouTube specifically. You don't have to, but if you want to like really like nail your production values early on, you're gonna spend a lot of money, and you're gonna it's gonna be as much, if not more, of a hobby than whatever you're making videos on. And you have to accept that that's going to be that sort of investment first, not even just as a hobby, but as like if you want to push it, you gotta go, and you gotta spend a year, and then after a year reevaluate. Is this worth is it been fun? Are you enjoying it? And then is it worth the time and money to continue? Yeah.
Run.
Do we have any new donations?
I just refreshed a moment ago. Let me double check. Nope. We are still on. We are currently at $8,052.
Nice.
Yeah, Bobo said you got to put in those 10,000 hours. That's one of those truths. I don't remember who was the one that said it.
Sort of. That's kind of a misattributed number.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be 10,000, but it's the thought of it is you have to put in a significant amount of reps.
Yeah.
Before so again, I'll use myself as an example, just because. Fuck you, I guess. I did I think I did 20 videos in my first year, and I realized that I needed to be, I needed not just for any sort of algorithm reason or trying to be consistent. I needed to get more videos out to give myself more reps at doing voiceover and doing like reading a script and not messing up all my lines. And
that's a thing that early on, quantity is almost as good as quality.
Yes, because at the very worst, the way I've kind of said to one of my buddies who was trying to make a passion project video, like, do you want to make that video now because you love that that game or whatever you're doing, or do you want to wait a year and do it to 10 times the audience and be 10 times as good? Because in 6 months you're gonna hate what you're making today, and 6 months from then you're gonna hate what you made then, until you're at a point where you're like, hey, I think I'm actually pretty okay at this now. And it's all about those reps. Like,
why do you think BSC basically redid our entire first year of stuff?
Yeah. It's one of the things where, like, at a certain point, you're no longer like, you might be proud of what you did, but you're not proud of how you did it. Like, and that's what you want to. You kind of want to like I remastered my first video for my second anniversary because it was the only video where I could just not watch it. It was like the other one. Oh god, sorry.
Isn't that feeling like every other skill, at least when it comes to monetizing your own skill that you're learning? Because I get that same feeling when it comes to drawing, is that you have to do it as a hobby first, and at times you will look back and cringe at your art, and over over time, you would do it like it's muscle memory. Cause cause right now I'm just learning programming, and I'm redoing that same cycle all over again of trying to do things that are way out of my league, doing them accidentally, and just trying to pump out stuff until programming and making games, it becomes muscle memory.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially with programming, you got to make some spaghetti code before you can make some. However you want to phrase it.
Yes.
Programming is also, in my experience, similar to kind of drawing and art in that it's very easy to tell early on whether or not you're going to be good at it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or at least rather whether you're going to be inherently good at it, because I think anybody can be good at. I think anybody can eventually become decent at programming at worst. It's just a matter of time until you really like get it. How many reps you have to get in to get to that point? Because if you're if you're more predisposed to math, then you're going to be a little bit better off. If you're good at trig, you're going to be better off at placing like the angles of let's say attack animations, to use a game that I worked on in high school. We had to learn some weird trig to try and like get an arrow shot from an archer to go the right way, because it was just going wrong because we didn't know what we were doing. Like that.
Trying to use log functions instead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was just like one of those.
Don't use log functions for accuracy.
Yeah. This was our second year actually, and I think this might not have been for a game we were working on. This might have been we did a thing for our senior year where our programming teacher worked with us to make an Angry Birds game based on our high school mascot and the opposing team's like rival mascot, for our big like annual game. And it was a disaster, but we actually I remember we reached out to like BioWare, and we got responses from them about like, hey, here's some tips we have for you for this, because it's a really cool idea. And I don't know why they replied, but they should have been working on good games. But
I mean, from my experience in dealing with bigger media companies, they kind of have a dedicated kind of outreach person who probably was able to answer you.
Yeah, but it was Arbiter John just said programming is all about having a logical plan first before you put it into an actual script. Absolutely.
Until you actually compile it, and then the adage of 99 bugs still left in the code, 99 bugs still left, patch one out, compile again, 108 bugs still left in the code.
Yep.
It's fact that bugs don't really come from it doesn't really come from the stuff you make. It's more or less bugs more or less come from the stuff you missed out, or the player finding out something that the developer never really intended them to do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the thing is, computers, we don't like to think of it this way, but computers are really stupid. We think they're smart. Yeah. They're not. They do exactly what you tell them to, and if you don't tell them...
Yeah, they're basically
if you don't tell them what to do, they won't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, computers are about as smart as a calculator.
So
it's really smart, but only if you tell them to.
The best way to think of it is this way. So just so people can get in the right headspace regarding, because I know most people don't have much experience doing coding, because it's kind of an obscure topic you don't really get into until late high school at the very earliest.
I have.
Imagine you're driving a car. So the steps you take to drive a car are turn the ignition key, or press the button depending on what kind of car you're driving nowadays. But for the sake of example, you turn the ignition key, you set your mirrors, you set your seat, so you're good to go. You put it in drive or reverse depending on what you're getting out of. You press the gas pedal and you use the steering wheel. Logically, to put it in drive. You don't have to think about it, because how are you expecting to go anywhere if you don't put the car in drive? The computer doesn't think like that. The computer doesn't know to put it in drive until you tell it to put it in drive. The function of putting the car into drive does not exist for the computer until you tell it to do that.
Yep. The example that we used, we did an event when the hour of code was becoming a thing right around the time that we graduated, we did an event where we brought in a bunch of kids from the elementary school and started teaching them like rudimentary programming, like coding concepts, because we were hoping that our district could start teaching computer science topics as a fundamental along with math, science.
We really need to start putting computer science in
100%.
middle school.
Yeah.
But we did a thing with like making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You don't just take the bread. You have to take the bread, take the little twist tie off the bread, take 2 pieces of bread out, put the bread down, unscrew the cap, twisting counterclockwise for the peanut butter. Grab your knife. Like, you have to do all of the steps in order. You can't skip steps in programming, and it's fascinating when you see it from the other side. It really is. Like I love programming, and I hate programming, and I love programming.
I could not get into programming just because I did not have. Well, one, it just took me longer to get than most other subjects that I'm used to, and the other was just I just didn't have the patience for it in college.
Yeah, it's so much patience, and it's actually this is another piece of advice I'll give to anybody who may want to do anything of any sort, not even just content creation, but you're gonna want to storyboard things. No matter what, like for programming, you do a storyboard. It might not be an actual storyboard, but you write an outline of what it is, like a mission statement of your project, the goals, what it needs to do, how.
Yeah, storyboards for game design are usually called game design docs. Like
Yes.
you write, that's where you write down your ideas and how you think you'll implement them.
Yeah, it's and I know I have buddies who do like for their videos, they'll storyboard like their concepts out for their script before they even outline the script. They'll do a storyboard of what they want an edit to look like or whatever. Like I personally don't do that because as people have apparently noted, my stream of consciousness flows relatively decently, so I can just kind of write it and then put it together later. That's just because I'm also kind of a writer at heart. So I can weave it as I need to, but I suggest storyboarding because it would probably make it better if I did do it. But actually, I did when I used to do my old reviews. I had a review structure because I knew I was too long-winded, and then I eventually got rid of that because I made shorter videos to get more reps in, like we said earlier.
To an extent, on some level, I think people can figure out their strengths and weaknesses and what they need to spend more time storyboarding than others. Like, you need to storyboard more because you have a good stream of consciousness, so to kind of keep yourself on track.
Yeah.
Sort of sense. Whereas, I'm not saying I'm specifically a good public speaker, but I have a more point A to point B thought process
Yeah.
when I'm talking, so it's much easier for me to kind of write up bullet points on a speech than write it out.
Yeah, and everybody will be different, but
Yeah.
especially when you're starting out, I suggest trying it to see if it works for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing something script-based or analytical in style, because I know a lot of people in chat were saying, they would like to do something in sort of blogging or creation of some sort. And if you're gonna do it, try and give yourself the best foot forward.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's just something I've seen in a lot of behind the scenes or creative things. It's like I storyboard everything, or I write, the story Bible, and it's like longer than the book, and it's like you don't strictly need to do that.
Yeah, you don't absolutely have to. Everyone's different, but it's another tool that you can kind of keep in your mind if you ever think you might need it. That way, you can at least rule out whether it'll help or not.
Because I think because I was developing a Night Fan game, and I spent 2 years programming it with my teacher, figure out all the algorithms, and the controls do work. It's just the whole design didn't, and some of the graphics. Yeah, people might remember some of the graphics from say 2019. And how those kids looked, because I only had 2 weeks to get it out, and I'm gonna take more time on. Yeah, really, I'm gonna take more time on that game and just reprogram it to be a little bit less spaghetti code, and it's and the reason why I did that because it's mainly about trial and error when it comes to learning a new skill. And I think the faster you get those failures out of the way, the faster you'll learn.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, finally, shut up. I was about to say, this boss more than any boss is basically like a Cuphead boss.
I can see it. Yeah.
Like
I was gonna say I like that we're fighting a clown.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about programming.
Yeah, just the animation. Yeah, just the animation on this. It's like almost exactly like what kind of bonuses you find in Cuphead, and even like the difficulty. Like now the difficulty starts to really amp up for the bosses. Like the first couple ones were really easy, but like this one, especially because with this one it's just non-stop shaking. Come on. Yeah, just a lot of patterns you gotta deal with. And I'm like literally shaking right now, so I'm like oh.
Shake it, baby, shake it.
Do you shake when you get nervous when playing games, Stefan, or?
Well, I mean, first off, I'm literally shaking right now.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, but that does happen. Yeah, that does happen sometimes where I'm like, if I get anxious because I'm like, holy fuck, can I just get this over with? Yeah, I can get.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was asking because this game is heavily shake based, and if you do that when you're kind of stressed out playing games, that's not gonna help.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know I was fighting I was practicing the final boss recently, and yeah, I was shaking a lot. Well, I mean, like you have to shake a lot normally, but yeah, I was because it was a lot of trial and error, and I was like, I don't want to do this whole thing over again because it gets pretty long.
And when I get stressed out or anxious when playing games, I do the forward lean and talk to myself thing.
Okay.
Oh, I did it.
Yeah.
I'm actually I'm actually in a tumble dryer while playing this. Yes.
That's what I'm just.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I'm Clown Man.
I'm Clown Man. See you in my dreams.
See you in my dreams.
God, he might be the creepiest fucking Mega Man boss.
Yeah,
Not just
basically.
because of the clown, just because of that line.
You got clown makeup. Oh no. Alright, let's see. I think I don't know if I have enough money. So I might have to end up, let's see how much I got. Is it backtracking time? This I mean, this isn't a big deal, but like I know. Oh, I do have enough. All right, sex. All right, don't have to do backtracking right now. But yeah, just going up and like it's not a huge deal, but constantly having to go get out, up, down, out, like getting out of the map and going back in the map. It's just it's slightly, but when you're playing it for so long, it gets slightly like annoying, being like, okay, I got to go all the way back out of the map just to go to the next level.
Yeah, it's why I consider Shake It to be kind of just a worse Land 4 in a lot of regards.
I do think it is overall better. It's just there's just those little things that are like, oh, when you're...
I still say 4 is a bit better, but that's just me.
And 4 was also Game Boy or DS, Game Boy Advance.
Game Boy Advance.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 4 looks really good too. Like 4 is one of the best looking GBA games.
Which is weird because it was a launch GBA game.
Was Wario Land 3 on color?
Was on color, yes.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
The first 2 Wario Land games were just general Game Boy.
Well, one was Game
2.
Yeah, it's 2. Yeah, 2 was Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
Okay.
3 was definitely 100% color, and 4 was Advance.
It's interesting that it had such a quick life. I was gonna say it's interesting that it had such a quick life, but then you realize how long the Game Boy really went for.
Oh, and also Virtual Boy.
Well,
don't forget Virtual Boy.
Yeah, the Game Boy should have died 3 different times.
Yes.
Yeah, the Game Boy lasted from like
89 until 98. Well, 99 really.
Yeah, because the Game Boy Color came out in 99, but even after the Game Boy Color came out, they still made Game Boy games. So the Game Boy pretty much lasted up until like 2000, having games come out for it.
Sort of. It was just kind of weird, depending on the game.
Yeah, and then the Game Boy Advance, as we mentioned before, only lasted for like 3 years before the DS came out.
Well, they wanted to make the DS a third pillar, which that lasted all of like 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that during one of the other streams, Stefan and I.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Just to bring it.
Yeah.
You want it to be a third pillar, but we're going to make our third pillar play the games from the second pillar. So why get the second pillar?
Yeah.
And then they tried that again for the Switch, where it's like, oh, we want to have the Switch and the 3DS at the same time, and it's like they tried, but then like after a year and a half, they're like, no. I mean, especially and then after the Switch Lite came out, then it's like, yeah, this is our handheld.
Yeah, just a straight up insurance policy, which I can't blame them, because if the Switch didn't do well, Like obviously they have money to last 50
Right.
years, but
Straight to mobile. Whoops.
Woo.
like obviously financially they'll be fine for
Yeah.
it's not forever, but probably forever. But if
Yeah.
if you know if
Yeah.
you have 2 bad performances in a row after you already only had 1 outlier of a good performance in a console in the Wii, that's not looking good.
Yeah, and the Wii, as I said, is a lot of false positives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
lightning in a bottle kind of thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which they mistook
basically.
for
Well, not even lightning in a bottle, just a lot of short-term success at the cost of long-term success.
Yes, yeah. I was going to sort of say lightning in the bottle that they thought was actually them learning electricity.
Yeah.
And it was not.
Which was also what happened with Microsoft. Like them, I mean, the Kinect at the start was super successful,
Yeah.
but then they kept focusing on it, and then in the end they lost to Sony.
Yeah, 360.
Well, Microsoft has a lot of
I know.
other problems beyond
Yeah.
this 360.
And even then, they didn't really do that much with the Kinect.
Well, no,
Really,
you know,
any feasible way that-
they did a lot with the Kinect. It's just thought that wasn't that good.
It was a lot that
Well,
none of
the
us
thing-
are going to care about. Is the thing. Like there were a lot of
Yeah.
kids games for it, but that wasn't what people were buying 360 for ever.
Yeah, if you're buying an Xbox, you're a
It-
teenager.
It actually made the
really-
Xbox 360 less cool
Okay,
for the
true.
target market.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Like,
but
I would argue.
more specifically with the Kinect is that way too many of the games were just knockoff WiiWare
Yeah.
shovelware as
Yeah.
opposed to something that really took advantage.
Like,
of,
at least Sony had the idea of, we're going to take the Wii Remote, try to make it more technologically better, and apply it to games we know Sony fans
Yeah.
like.
Like they tried to have a motion control resistance and kill zone.
Yeah,
and also, at
no.
least they were shameless with it. Like they
And
were,
and then they figured out that it worked best for their VR. So it's like
yeah,
they're
it,
like, oh,
it worked out well for them because they had 50,000
Yeah.
units sitting in a landfill somewhere.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, take them out.
yeah,
And now those things are expensive as shit.
yeah, like I mean,
Meanwhile, you can find Kinects like at any local thrift store.
Yeah.
I mean, the Kinect is the logical extension of the biggest problem with motion controls, in that there's something that all these gimmicky motions have to kind of figure out that they're never really going to, is they can't tackle intent.
Oh, I think my buddy Justin just dropped a raid on us. So thank you very much for the raid, and welcome to everyone who popped in.
I mean,
My buddy
other
Ed.
places have figured out the whole Kinect thing far better than any game developer has.
Well, no, it's a motion control thing in general, but the Kinect was the logical extreme of why it has these problems of they cannot handle what the player is trying to mean.
Oh
to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
So
Aside from that,
that's why we've stuck with controllers so long, in that an A button press is an A button press no matter what the computer thinks it does.
And a
Where
button
it-
press.
Whereas motion controls, it can't tell the difference between a flick or a swing, because that's going to vary from person to person no matter what
Yeah.
they do. So what works for
you see,
me as a swing may not be the same kind of swing that Kevin does.
yeah, just
Yeah.
it's all based on the not the accelerometer more than anything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you
well,
can-
the thing is, it's really good. It's really good at dancing games and other running games.
yeah,
games
anything.
with,
anything
but the problem is that most of the games that were on Kinect that were much better when you use props like the Wii.
Yeah, well, and a lot of it with that is also those are like placement based. The motion controls can get placement really well, but the problem is like that's one of the main things they can do super well, which is why VR works so well for the Move controllers. Like they're just repurposed tech from 2009.
Well, I
And-
mean even placement / pointing, that technology has technically been around since the
Yes.
60s.
Yeah, it's not like it's new.
Oh.
It's just that's one of the things that they can do remarkably well because it's not different from person to person. You can design a relative system.
Yeah, a computer can tell where something is on the X, Y, and Z axis really well.
Yeah, but it can't tell motion and speed well. So it's either all or nothing. Like how like HD rumble for like the inverse of HD rumble for motion controls isn't there yet. You're going to see more of the like different finger grip sort of things that the Oculus with whatever the new one is doing. The hand controllers.
Yeah,
wanna see why?
because that's mostly stemming from prosthetic technology.
Yeah, which is also just amazing.
Yeah, so they're getting slightly better, but you're never going to be able to make a computer able to tell this is what the person means by when they do this,
Yeah.
because that's going to vary from person to person no matter what. So I feel for gaming, they're kind of have to accept that motion controls are only going to be supplementary to main controls.
Yeah.
Which I think Nintendo has finally gotten it rammed into their heads for.
Yeah. It just took 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that I am going to have to dip out, so no new donations right now. We are currently at $8,052. Again, anyone who's watching, you can hit donate down below if you want to donate. I will catch you guys all, I don't think later today. I will catch you guys tomorrow.
Can you post the donations on the general just so I can click it easy?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah, no worries. But thanks for having me, as always. It's always been a fun time talking with you guys. There's that link for you whenever you are ready.
Yep. Okay, so the last one is Subpar Paradox.
Yep,
that was a while ago, so we're good.
Okay, so I will catch you guys all later. Have a good night, everybody.
All right.
All right, catch you later.
I probably won't be too much longer, but I can stay around a bit still.
All right. Check in with Caro, because I know she mentioned...
She said she'll be here a little after 4, so I'll probably duck out when she arrives.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't leave you completely on your own here.
Thanks. All right.
Well, what about me?
You don't exist. You're not real.
Whoa.
I like and also another reason why Wario Land is good. It has like water. It has submarine levels that are actually fun to play,
Huh.
and submarine motion controlled levels that are actually like pretty fun to play. They aren't too fast. They aren't too slow. The motion controls don't obscure the controls all that much.
And they're not 20 minutes like Pac-Man World 2.
Yeah, God, I'm replaying those Pac-Man World 2 like the water stages. They're such a
that is the reason that speedrun is like almost an hour, because they take up like 30 minutes of it.
Although, does it say something that this motion control game is much better than the other game that required buttons?
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, I was saying, isn't this a little odd that this game that uses motion controls has better submarine levels than the game that uses buttons for its submarine levels?
I mean, not entirely, only in the sense that controls are only as good as the developers make them to be.
Yeah, obviously.
That's also the reason why 100%ing Pac-Man World 2 is basically a nope, because it's like, oh, you miss one thing, you gotta play the whole level all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, like, the 100%ing it does nothing anyway, so it's like, at least, like, playing through the game normally, it's like, it is, other than those levels, it's pretty fun and it's pretty short. Which is why you should donate to make sure that they play Pac-Man World 2, because it is really great.
It is a really good game for the most part.
I want them to do a more 3D Pac-Man that isn't Pac-Man Boom.
Yeah, they really should make a World 4 at this point.
Or just more 3D Pac-Man. Oh. I'm trying to remember like what the best like route. I have no idea. I have no idea how to remember what the best routes are to get the most coins, so I can get the diamonds and all that junk. Yeah, because there's like one of them has like a treasure, one of them has like diamond, one has like regular money, and it's like, yeah, I want the money / diamonds. I don't need the treasures, because they're only really useful if you're actually going to get all of them. Which I probably not going to do it like so soon after, because I already played it a bunch for practice for this, but I really need to go back in and play through, like, and get all the achievements, collect all the stuff, because like that's something I haven't done in this game yet.
Button, who's got the button?
Concentrating for a second here. Push the button, Ted.
A shiny, beautiful button.
Okay, that's good.
Oh,
Alright.
they just made a new poster for the Mario CG SGI project, and they added Metal Luigi to the poster.
Wait,
I guess they're adding him to that mod.
which is
Can you say-
SGI?
The Mario SGI is the mod for the PC version of Mario 64. They're trying to make it look like the CG promo art for the game.
Oh, right.
Oh boy. Can you send a link to that in chat?
Yep, I did.
Oh my god, that looks way too good.
What's better, Pac-Man World 2 or Battle for Bikini Bottom?
I haven't played either of those games. So
They're kind of different in a lot of ways.
I feel like I think Battle is a more enjoyable 3D platformer for me, but I think that's also because I'm a SpongeBob guy. But I think it also, design-wise, I think it's a slightly better 3D platformer than Pac-Man World 2 is. But Pac-Man World 2 still...
I prefer more level to level, so I prefer Pac-Man World 2 a smidge more. Like, I'm just generally not super big on platformers that's just run around and grab stuff.
Yeah, I've
so
always liked
Pac-Man World 2 being more of a straight platformer for me just does more.
Yeah, I always like collectathons, so so the battle Mario 64 style I'm always a fan of. Do you want to update? Do you want to update what the how the bid wars are currently?
The bid wars, sure thing.
Yeah,
so
like who's winning?
The bid wars that end today. The bid war that ends today is Fire Emblem Warriors. Tiki's at $10, Lissa's at $85, Mill Ramen's at $60, and Takumi's at $70. For Castlevania, the bid race is $145 for Rondo of Blood and $136 for Castlevania 4, so that's super tight. Mario All Stars is $255 for Lost Levels, of course it is, because you guys all hate me. Super Mario Brothers 2 is at $40, and Super Mario World is at $170. Mario 3 and Mario 1 are at $0. Dragon Quest Save the Princess is at $45, and Fuck the Dragon is at $56. Metroid Prime 1 is at $625. Prime 2 is at $1,351 because you guys give way too much money to things John's doing, and Prime 3 is at a lowly $140. The Sonic Advance bid wars are at $20 for Advance 1, $290 for Advance 2, and $335 for Advance 3. Pac-Man World 6 between Pac-Man World War 1 is at $25, and World 2 is at $39. Metal Gear between the original and Twin Snakes is at $150 and Solid is at $30. Persona 5 Dancing All Night is at Ryuji is at $55, Makoto is at $60, Akechi's at $5, Yusuke's also at $5, and Haru's at $115.
Nice.
For Mario Party, we're at $225 for Party 2, $265 for Party 6, and $160 for Party 8. Super and Party 5 are at $0.
No one wants Super.
Nope.
Good. I need to play it. I hear so many mixed things about Super. People being like, "Oh my god, it's actually pretty good," and then people be like, it's not that good."
I mean, it's the only Mario Party I've been able to get my hands on, but it was fine.
It's weird because it's coming off of the disasters that are 9 and 10.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's probably a case of just, anything is going to be better than that in comparison, probably.
Yeah. Because I've been usually use that to play with my roommates, and for the most part, it's fine. It's fine. It's just there are far too few maps, and there's not and the thing is they focus so much on the extra modes that they never really polished on either one. If I'm making sense.
Yeah, it's also just one of those. It's kind of like Star Fox and Paper Mario and some other examples where it's just like, we've been telling you exactly what we want for how long, just give it to us. And that's just like remake Mario Party 2 and 3 and just make it online and we're good. sort of
Or at the
situation, or make something at least on the caliber of 2 and 3 and make it online.
Yeah, or at the very least, port them.
Yeah.
Speaking of Wario, I wanted to talk about Virtual Boy Wario Land, which is a genuinely good game.
It's the only good game on the Virtual Boy.
It's like, yeah, I played it. I played it through both black and red and a green and black emulation. Yeah, and it is really fun. It has that that cool, like the way it uses like the 3D gimmick, the jumping up and jumping in the foreground background is really fun.
Fun fact about the Virtual Boy: it's the first console in the West to have a Shin Megami Tensei game.
Jack Bros.
Jack Bros. It also had Kevin Costner's Waterworld on it.
Waterworld, and
It was also going to have an F-Zero game on it, but that got canceled.
and it was supposed to have 3D Tetris, which is just Hatris.
Yes.
This isn't Tetris. This is Hatris. Oh fuck! Oof. I forgot that. Yeah, there are no bottomless pits in this game. The only way you can die is through getting hurt by enemies, and even then, only certain enemies can hurt you. I don't know why. I'm about to say, why am I here? I'm like, oh, I want the... yeah, I was looking for more coins, but I think I'm good. I'm good with coins over here. Yeah, I can't get there. How do I get there? There are a lot of things about this game I still haven't figured out. Like I mentioned earlier, just the fact that there are a lot of just the fact that the coin goal that you have to get for the achievements like is so much greater than like the coin amounts that I get by the end of level. So I'm missing a lot of coins, and I have no idea where I'm supposed to get them. So it's like there's a lot about this game I still don't know about. Just look up Hatris, didn't know what to expect. Alright, I need to throw an enemy somewhere. Oh, that's what I need to do. Okay, alright. I'm trying to remember where exactly. 'Cause there's that. Oh. Yeah, you can get Wario squished. I'm just gonna stay here the whole time. Me. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm supposed to hit. It's supposed to get right here, so I can sneak in there and get something. But oh well. The sounds he makes while squished are so funny. Again, I can't hear it right now. That is probably what they sound like. Does this mean Wario's immortal? I mean, I assume...
Sort of.
Yeah.
I mean, he was just straight up immortal in Wario Land 3.
I forget what happened at the end of Wario Land 4.
You mean plot, or with
Like,
you
yeah,
could take
plot,
damage?
yeah, plot-wise.
Basically, he saved the princess, got the gold, told the princess to fuck off, and took his money.
Just like in this game.
Yeah,
I mean, he accepted the kiss from her and then just grabbed the money and ran off.
yeah, it's basically that's the going total. It just determines how hot she is.
Which I am surprised that Smash Brothers gave a spirit to Princess Shoko from Land 4.
Huh.
She's only in that one game.
Well, I mean, like they have spirits for like so many people that it's like at that point they're like, oh, we'll go for the deep cuts. Why not?
I guess, but it's like you gave a spirit to Captain Syrup, who makes sense, and you gave him the villain of this game, which makes sense because it's the latest Wario Land game. It's like you're gonna give it to a character who appears for like one screen at the end of Wario Land 4. And yes, I know she's technically the cat that follows you around, but you don't see her until like the very end.
Isn't one of the manuals that he doesn't feel like dying, so he just refuses to?
Yeah. I mean, that's the Saul bad guy excuse. If anyone knows their Guilty Gear lore. Which I assume neither of you do.
Nope, don't know any Guilty Gear.
Okay, basically, he went back in time, saw himself get killed, and just said, to explain away the paradox of him seeing himself die in the past, he just said, nope, that wasn't me, and just buggered off. and just refused to die.
I wonder if Sakurai, like personally like approved of every character who became a spirit.
I mean, surely it had to have gone through him at some point, but he probably didn't think super hard about most of them.
Because I feel like there's so many of them that at some point he's just like, yeah, he has like somebody else in charge of doing that, and...
I mean, most likely. Again, base development was a pretty big team. I mean, for DLC, it's probably easy for him to just say, okay, we're doing the ARMS characters, so these are the characters we're going to make spirits for that.
And he's just like, whatever, I'm Sakurai.
I get younger as I grow older. I looked older in 1992 when I took that picture with Iwata and Miyamoto for Kirby than I do now at age 50.
But I look so much happier back then.
I mean, kinda, yeah.
Somebody, they need to find that fountain of youth that he's hoarding. That's my shaking noise. What? I swear the last time I played this, it wouldn't let me stand on the flowers, so I just thought you couldn't. But then, like, on recent playthroughs, like, oh, now it's letting me, so I guess that was just a glitch or something, or just maybe I wasn't timing correctly. Ooh, like that. Fudge. Why aren't you jumping? Oh, alright, that wasn't my fault.
Oh, they're actually modeling Luigi for the Mario 64 SGI.
Mod Luigi. Mod Luigi in Twitch chat.
Oh my god, that...
It's a stone Luigi, you didn't make it. It's even regulation size. Oh, what are you waiting for? Throw me a pass.
Sauce me a gamer, Luigi. Give me a game pass.
Or, as they say in Brooklyn, yeah!
Fuck you, bandit. Oh, it's a bottle of... what? All these treasures are disgusting. That was a bad idea. Do it again. I got an idea. Let's try this. It's gonna work. It's not gonna work. Nope, it's not gonna work. Damn it. Oh well. I'll just screw it. Whatever. I was trying to get a money bag up there, but it wasn't. The timing wasn't correct, so I think I have to do something else. I need money. I want the money. Yep, never mind. Wrong way. Wrong direction.
Wrong lever.
Isn't there a lever? There's a rope. But it's a strong rope.
A sluice.
I prefer a noose right about now.
That's close.
They can help you with big pits, Gordon.
Waluigi deserves game. Yeah, he deserves Waluigi's full motion detective video game. Coming some year. Or you can go by the new fan theory that Waluigi is actually just Luigi.
I mean, maybe, but that Mr. L guy is totally different.
Yeah, who is he?
Oh dang, apparently they're making like Luigi and Unlock in the mod. So there's like actual new hidden secrets and stuff that you can use to unlock Luigi. This mod's gonna be insane.
I know I saw
Yeah.
I know some of my friends were playing. I saw them playing Mario, one of the Mario 64 mods where you like there was like a whole bunch of other different characters. It was like yeah, it was like more than 4 people were playing at once.
Yeah, that's
Ooh.
Super Mario 64 Online. I'm talking about the Mario 64 SGI project where they actually, you know, make it, again, just to make it look like the actual CG artwork and that they would do to promote the game and all that.
Yeah. 'Cause- Yeah, and yeah, and they're even gonna give the levels new meshes.
Mm-hmm.
I might actually die in this. Oh, yeah, I might actually die. That's not gonna be
Ooh.
fun. Come on.
If you died to that bird, I would have laughed.
I guess I'm not getting health after that. Yeah, because you can shake the enemies and occasionally they'll drop an onion. Oh, nice. I need that. Yes, they'll drop an onion that'll give you a lot of lives. Damn it! I'm trying to kill that guy. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm just gonna ignore you. You're not gonna risk that. I don't want to die. Damn. Shake. Who's Mr. L? What do you think, Luigi? Somebody drop a drum or a guitar?
That was really my bad.
Die.
Die.
Die. Which way do I...
Join me, Link.
I'm going to have a seizure. Come on. That's the end. Is there something down here? Oh, that's the actual pathway I'm supposed to go. Okay. Alright. The flower enemies are called Venus Guy Traps. Oh, there's the golden enemy. Whatever. Run. Escape.
Go back to the golden enemy!
Oh, I missed it. Alright, I'm gonna try and get this.
Aww.
Ah, I got that one. I got that. Alright, I'm happy. Let's run. Let's fly. Don't. Wrong way anyway.
Nope, we have a new donation.
Sex. What is it?
$5 from Ha 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 1. Please add this bid work to MGS, specifically the Twin Snakes, because the story of a lone agent taking on a terrifying walking nuclear tank could always be a bit more animu. Considering Twin Snakes for a moment, how do you feel about all the remakes that changed things up rather than just being a straight remake? Do you appreciate the differences, wish that they had to stick to, or wish that they would stick to what people want to expect, or is there a middle ground that developers should try to shoot for? You guys can answer that while I put this in.
I prefer remakes that go for that respect the original but go for their own thing, because I feel like it helps bring value to both products. Like say with the Resident Evil 2 and 3 like the remakes, because it's like, oh, they're both very different games, but they're also, they don't completely overshadow the 2 and 3 are still like good games in their own right that you can then go for. Like there are stuff in that game that you can't get in the remake that make it worth the
sort of. I still say Remake 2 is the more definitive version compared to the PS1 game, whereas Remake 3 cuts way too much to be a definitive version. For me, I feel that you really should be doing one or the other, either be a faithful complete remake or you kind of just be like a different version of it entirely. So that's just kind of where I'm coming from. Unfortunately, whether or not you should do one or the other kind of just depends entirely on context. Like, there's no real way to do anything different for Crash 1, 2, and 3. If you're going to remake those games, you kind of have to do them exactly the same way, whereas survival horror has changed a lot since Resident Evil 2 came out, so doing something different, really different gameplay-wise makes more sense. So it's just kind of a weird situation depending on game to game.
Okay, now we have this boss who literally looks like he just came out of Cuphead. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, it looks like one of the bosses from that.
Like, especially the way he moves, like how he moves in like a weird pattern, like just like that very cartoonishly animated style. Come on, get him! Ah, yeah. This one can be pretty annoying if you don't know exactly what to do. So to get like the exact right patterns down in order to maximize the amount of hits you can achieve. Yeah. Die, didn't work. Come on. Ah, that was my bad. That was my bad. Yeah, I didn't realize for the longest time. But yeah, you can just press down and he'll grab the ground, so you don't have to try to outrun it. Yep.
Well, we actually have a dub clip of Kaguya.
Oh yeah, they already. I think it came out like last week. I watched one of the clips. I like the voice. I like some of the voice choices. I saw a comment that was like Shinomiya and Ishigami should have been switched, which I do agree with. Like, I think Austin Tyndall is Ishigami, and I think he should have been Shirogane.
Hiragana, yeah. I'm listening to it, and it's one of those. It's certainly not bad, but it's kind of like I'm trying to find a good comparison where it's like, so the original Japanese cast just nailed the characters so perfectly. It's hard to imagine them sounding any different, even in another language.
Yeah, I think like something like the Konosuba one was probably the perfect thing of like, oh, these Japanese voice actors are already like so perfect, you can't really see an English voice cast getting up to it, but Konosuba gets like that's probably as perfect as you can get of matching.
Yeah,
that.
It's close, but it's like the performances done in that were so spot on to what the characters are. It's hard to go to anything else that's not 100% perfect. So even though that dub clip I just watched was really good and certainly a solid voice cast and dub, but you go and watch the show in Japanese and every actor completely nails it in every scene, it's going to be hard to listen to.
And then there's these assholes.
Ooh.
Right, come on, fuck. Right. Yeah, I only saw the one clip. I need to watch like the whole thing just to hear like how they sound fully. But yeah, it looks like it's a good for what it is.
Dub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, I still stand by I stand by that. I think My Hero is best modern anime dub, just because I feel like every single voice they have for it is like pitch perfect, at least like as possible. Like there's no bad voice acting. I feel of all the major characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like there were probably like others where it'd be like, oh, they probably could have been like slightly better or something like that. But
well, it's one of those kind
no
of
bad,
like
there's no bad choices.
it's one of those situations like Funimation with Full Metal Alchemist in the early 2000s where they knew it was going to be very big, so they spent the money to get nothing but good actors, compared to most dubs where they'll spend some money to get good actors for like the leads, but secondary or minor characters will just get whoever they can find just to fill in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huzzah, winner.
Woo!
For me, it's like I can like kind of swap. I can swap between. I normally prefer to just go for, if the choice is available, I'll go for the English just because it's easier for me just to listen rather than also read. But there's a lot of times where like I will go for, if say there are a lot of times where I will just go for the sub if that's the easier one to access, and a lot of times I do find like, oh yeah, there are some anime where I feel like the sub is just inherently better than the dub, then I'll just kind of stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's always case by case, but I can do either just fine.
Yeah. Like I watched Suriduri Children first subbed, and now I've just been going through and listening to it dubbed, and I'm like, yeah, the dub is good. I just kind of like the sub just kind of feels more right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a case of like, oh yeah, I won't. But then there'll be I think a lot of comedy series where I feel
a lot of comedy. Yeah, a lot of comedy is weird to do in English from Japanese because their comedic timing is different than ours.
I feel like
it's tough for dubs to kind of get the idiosyncrasies of the Japanese language and vocal timings down.
I need 200. I feel like for a lot of a lot of like the really crazy kind of like weirder anime that like Funimation like cakes on and that they dub, I like that where they just go kind of like fucking bonkers with it. I think that like say like something like my girlfriend is a gal, which is just they just kind of make it like what's the term I'm blanking on, what's the like fan sub, like fan dub, like where they just kind of they go nuts with it. I think that's kind of when you're just kind of making it like slightly like meme worthy without actually being meme worthy. I think that those kind of ones kind of work the best, where you're just kind of being your own thing. It's like Ghost Stories-esque without like going full Ghost Stories.
Ghost Stories is a once in a lifetime, never gonna happen situation.
Ghost Stories is a completely different like case because that's like full on like that's completely rewriting it. I just mean like in a like comedy sense.
I suppose so. I still have my Ghost Stories DVD signed by Monica Rial. Now that I think about it.
What's the best? I'm trying to look where is the best place to get money.
At the bank.
Ha!
I try.
Well, one of these ones had a lot, 10,000. There's one. Where is it? Because there's one I got over 50,000 in. I kind of want to go do that, and then that'll be easy money. Might have been World 3. Yeah, I think it was World 3. Apologies for this. Oh, yep, there it is. 50,000. I got 50,000 easy for this, so I should be able to get this one.
We have a $5 donation from MyEcho4. Sup, dudes? I hope the event is going well. I really have more of a fun question for you guys. What was the funniest thing you ever laughed at that almost made you cry? It could be anything. Have fun. Oh, and P.S. Ryan, I can't unhear Man in the Mirror with stomping now. I hope you're happy. Yes, I am happy because I ruined it for you.
I'm supping with the men. Ow!
Na 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 na. Yeah, that Man in the Mirror, but it's a complete mess. Just ruins that song completely.
There's a lot of stuff that like laugh, like to make me cry. But I think the most recent one I can think of is Scott the Waz's his Wheel of Fortune and his like Wheel of Fortune Jeopardy like the like game show video games video. Like that one is just like non-stop, just because the whole thing is just him playing these game show videos and just going absolutely bonkers. Like when he's talking like, who is president? I think Becky won for president. My buddy Ed won for me. I would like to announce I'm running for beep. It's just him going nonstop.
I don't really laugh that hard at things. It's kind of if you get me to laugh that hard, it's via a situation I'm currently in, like Mario Party 3 for BSC or something.
Yeah, there are a lot of times like that. Yeah, when you're just kind of like a lot of our like Jackbox we've done a bunch of like Jackbox what do you call it, like just casual games between us, and like I've laughed so hard from those. Like they can get really crazy.
I don't know which one to choose because there's a lot of things that make me laugh. I think recently was Half-Life, but the AI is self-aware and the improv that is so good. There were several times where I just laugh out loud at that. It was also Chimon animation by Dr. Love, and the animations are just so off the balls, nuts that I just can't help but just laugh until I faint.
So in the chat, your mother's a fucking ham sandwich.
Yeah, that was a situation.
Or also and Zaz from License to Chill's Arkham City.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Batman.
You haven't dialed to collect.
So I don't have to go that way anyway.
If you don't accept the charges, another mark is going on her face.
It doesn't make it. One group of videos I've been watching a lot that I can't stop like laughing at is the FTCR Smash 4 video that the guys did, where it's just like, this is before Ultimate came out, of them just playing Smash 4, and everything TJ says in that video, it just leaves me in stitches. I've just been re-quoting it so many times, just him going, time to bust down my main, time to bust down my second main, time to bust down my third main, or just scream, or going like, you can't use your feet, that's illegal. Or when he goes when he does Mark Wahlberg as Inspector Gadget. Oh no, yeah, Nick put in the Scott the Waz's Gex jokes. It just, even when I know it's coming, they're just never not funny. It's just seeing Gex on the TV and just a piece of paper. You can't help but laugh at it.
Yeah.
Also, I am deathly afraid. I am deathly afraid of circles.
Yeah. Actually, the funniest thing I felt from DJ is that it was one of the live streams that TCR did about with leaving with the animating game, and there was a part where just careful, just put annoying DJ and go, look DJ robot, look DJ robot, and TJ just ignored it for like the longest time until the robot went off screen, and he was just talking about something else, and then the robot comes in the screen and like, holy fuck, is that you, robot? What?
Hey guys, Cream's here. Hey guys, it's Cream.
Hey guys, Cream's here.
Yeah.
I love how slow his reaction speed was during that, and it's just the timing on that was just beautiful.
Actually starts playing Gex. What the fuck is this? It's the anti-Gex!
Actually, yeah, have you guys seen Half-Life, but the AI Subpar?
No.
Yeah, I've seen full life consequences.
Okay, that was good too.
That's still one of like the best early YouTube videos.
John Freeman is Gordon Freeman's
know, right?
brother. He lives in
One day, John Freeman in an office.
It is a good day to be me.
It is time for me to live up to my family name and full life consequences. John Freeman got his motorcycle and did a backflip off of the roof.
It is a good day.
And so he flew.
To be me.
Okay, I think I'm actually because I was worried I was gonna need it like 5 hours to beat this, but actually I think I'm gonna beat this in under 4. So yeah, I think I'm safe.
Yay.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, because I really recommend watching Half-Life with the AI somewhere. It is really good. Like, hey, Dominic, you think you can use a gun? You think you can do that? You want me to practice all that pressure? How does Fishing get down here? You want me to kill it? No, just you. Okay. Actually, someone said, Jess, I hope you're playing this charity stream with a passport.
Oh, Miwa and anything she's in, yes. That's also the easy answer.
Oh man.
I still don't know how anyone here knows Miwa. It was just through Gareth, or
No, it was through like the FTCR guys. They met her like just through online. Like they were like, look, I think it might have been Skylar was like messing around with like an online chat thing, and then they ended up like
they just ran into her.
Yeah, they just ran into her, and then they just started talking, and then things happened.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, because there was one episode where they told me they just met them through a sex line, but I'm not sure if that's true or not.
All right, I'm gonna need to head out for now. Unfortunately, I've left a message just to say if anyone can hop in, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Just got some house things to do.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so I'll talk to everyone later.
Alrighty.
All right. See you, man.
Yep. Later.
Bye.
Yep. Yeah, the reason needs somebody else because it needs somebody else who actually has access to do the to fix the charity stuff, which you don't. So that's also why you need somebody else.
Yeah. Okay. I can at least go look up Okay, at the very least, I can look at donations as soon as they come in. So,
I'm just after I finish this level, I'll have enough to go to the last world. So I'm just waiting for that. How much longer for the game? After this level, it's 1 more world, so it's like 5 more levels and 2 boss fights. So I don't think that I feel like it might be possible in just an hour. I think there might be just an hour of game left. Yeah, I think it might have been because one of the last time I played the game, I was taking like a long time, but maybe it was just because I hadn't played the game in a while, so it was just I was figuring everything out. But now I'm like, okay, I remember what I'm supposed to do and where I'm supposed to go, so I'm like, yeah, that's much easier. Yeah, it's just this whole long stretch is a very easy way to grind for money. Oh, I missed one. Oh well. I just need 40,000. After Drift or before Chronicles?
is, what you see when you go into the AC and BC is when you can piece it together yourself. You have an
Oh,
imagination.
nice. I beat the stage without taking damage. Alright, let's see. Let's go buy from Captain Waifu.
Oh boy!
Damn, I can't buy a heart vessel yet. I'll buy it later. One moment, I'm just getting a drink.
Oh fuck! Now I'm alone. All right. So,
No, I'm right here. I'm just drinking.
oh. Oh my god.
Captain Syrup, best Wario character? Probably. Yeah, there's only 5 worlds.
Best looking. Well,
This is the final
best
world.
looking. Yes.
Alright, just one moment. I'm just gonna check on some things. It'll only be like a minute or two.
Alright. Yeah. There's. Yeah. No new donations yet.
You just checked. Of course there wouldn't be.
Alright. So, chat. How you doing?
Alright, let me just start it. Only yeah, there were extra worlds. I think the final percentage of the levels is 69%. Hashtag nice.
Nice.
I don't think I've actually played through the bonus levels because I know you have to do a lot of you have to unlock a lot of the achievements and what do you call it? Yeah, you have to unlock a lot of the achievements and treasures, and that's how you unlock those bonus levels. I thought that was soap for a second. For a second, and I was like, "What? What soap?" But no, it's a mahjong piece, which is makes more sense.
Oh.
They just find the map in the stages. No, you buy the map from you buy the map from with the coins you collect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to pick up the. Yeah, I don't think I can. Actually, oh, I can pick it up. That's useful. For I thought I had to squish it. Oh. I'll have to go around. That's right. Nope, I was going the right way. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, butt slam. actually don't think I need to worry about collecting coins now because I've bought everything I need to buy. I'm just gonna just check out some things just for the heck of it. Oh, oh yeah, that's right. There are secret hidden maps in the levels, and that's how you unlock the bonus little stages. Sorachi Jirachi saying.
Ah, really?
The other way.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Even then, it must have been a long time since I played this game. Oof. Yeah.
I prefer Wario wearing his long sleeve yellow shirt instead of the short sleeves. Don't know why.
I don't know, maybe he needs to show off his gun. Oh, crap.
That's right. That.
Okay. And there we go. Can you hear us?
Me. I'm back. Hello.
Oh, hey, he's back.
Hey!
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just now.
There we go.
Yeah, now I'm just going through the final stages.
Cool.
Hi, back. I'm dead.
Hi, Dad. I miss you.
Are you winning, son?
Okay. So what did I miss?
Not much. I just I did some. What did I do? There we go. I went ahead and come on. I need to hit this thing one more time. But yeah, I just did the more stages. I repeated one stage twice in order to get him get enough money I needed, but now I'm all good to go.
Yeah.
Is Wario Land Shake It one of those games that made you ask why did this need to be like a Wii exclusive title sort of thing, like Wario Land with Virtual Boy?
Well, I mean,
no,
like,
not really.
the game itself is all about like, I mean, like you shake the Wii remote a lot of the time, so it does have that thing going for it.
Yeah.
So something that can easily be ported to the Switch, you figure. With the
Yeah,
Joy-Con.
you could play it with the Joy. I think playing with the Joy-Con would actually be really helpful because it has
Oh,
the HD rumble. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
this
that would
can
be good for that. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
And plus, they already Goodfeel already has experience with Switch projects, and they've already been porting a lot of their projects over to other systems. I mean, they ported Poochie and they ported Kirby's Epic Yarn. So every game of theirs has been ported, I think, by the same team to the 3DS at some point besides Wario Land. So why not?
Because that's the one that.
Also, hi, Johnny.
So that will require. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
That will require them acknowledging the Wario Land series at all.
Sad face.
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Not that I don't want to put down the. I don't want. Well, I said Wario. No, I said Wario Land. WarioWare is it's not a bad sub series at all either. But
Yeah,
I,
I mean,
I feel there's room enough in this world for both series.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why they never considered having both run at the same time, except for this like one case.
I mean, I will go because I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, that's because we have Wario Land. Because Wario Land 4 was a Game Boy launch title, and then they made the WarioWare games right after that. And then this came out at the same time. I think it was like Smooth Moves came out a year before this, and then this came out.
Yeah, and since then it's been nothing but WarioWare. But even that kind of dwindled after WarioWare Gold for the 3DS, which I hear is great. But it just seems like Wario is soon getting reserved just for spin-off Olympic games or party games.
Yeah, like
I wouldn't be surprised to see them do something like a smaller game now that they're kind of used to variable pricing more. Because Wario Land would be perfect as like a $20 game. The problem is that I don't want to spend $60. I'm sorry. Like
that is the one thing with Nintendo's kind of like Nintendo's outlook is that they don't do like those $20-$30 downloadable games. It's always like $50 or $60 physical releases.
Yeah.
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 And that's one of those things where we were talking about. Again, we've kind of been bouncing around similar subjects the past couple of days, but it's one of the things we're talking about with like Sony's issue right now of one of their former leads was talking about how he feels that they're going to need to have variable budgets and variable pricing sooner than later because you can't just make games with the budget of The Last of Us going forward, and they're all going to be more expensive now. Like.
AL, I completely forgot about Wario Master of Disguise. Like, that is a title that came and went so fast, like straight from the warehouse into a Burlington Code Factory budget rack.
Yeah.
Like, I feel that game was so insignificant.
Yeah, similar to Wario World. Well, at least Wario World had the distinction of being a 3D platformer, so it's at least different. But yeah, Master of Disguise just wasn't that good.
Yeah, because I did have that game. I never really got past the two worlds because I don't know, there was something blocking me, and I never got around to playing it again.
It's been a very unremarkable game, and you were bored.
And
that too.
Like,
who knows? I must have been like a kid, and I think even back then I must have known.
Talking what you were mentioning about like budgeting games, like that kind of reminds me of something that's like very similar going on with like the movies in the film industry now, which is the fact that either the only movies that are being made, like at least movies that are coming out in theaters, are either very, very low budget, just low budget like films that are like less than $10 million, or the big budget $100 million movies. But then you get like a mid-range $30 to $50 million movie. They either can't be made or they just go direct to streaming because there's no real like market nowadays for those movies to be released, because it's like, oh, you're either going to make something super cheap that you can get away with like putting in theaters because it'll make its money no matter what, or a big like a huge blockbuster that like needs to be in the theaters in order to make back its money.
Because I feel I feel like it's because I feel like it's kind of too hung up on justifying the $60 price tag is that they really risk overpadding the games, and instead of having satisfying game, I would go for price tiers the same way Jim Quisition suggested, where each price tag will just signify the game life as submissions, and not have every $10 game be some indie project to the $60 game be a AAA game. Okay. I think that's one way to get around this issue. And also to have to mark your limits on budget.
It's interesting that it all comes back to as well. The jump to HD bankrupted so many studios that we saw like the whole AA and even like single A development, if you want to call it that, was just replaced by indies. So indies have taken the mantle of the lower budget games away from the major developers and publishers, which has led to this sort of machine-like bloat where it like you're very much more a cog now in game development as one staffer than you ever were before. And then indies are the passion projects that you see like no one's making Mega Man, so here's 15 Mega Man games because Capcom can't profit on Mega Man anymore because they don't understand budget. Back in this is like 2009, 2008, thereabouts. And then they've kind of learned, thankfully. and it's people
Yeah.
who kind of come around and kind of understood, like, you know, you can have games that are as long as they need to be. Not every game needs to have a whole Ubisoft world to it.
Yeah, yeah. As long as you know how to use your budget right.
Yeah, especially
But,
a lot
yeah,
of
they-
Especially a lot of times when those worlds end up getting critiqued for being too big, and it feels like they're making the worlds big just for the sake of using their budget that they have. It's like, oh, we're given a $100 million budget. Let's make a $100 million budget worth of stuff, even if our design wise doesn't need that much money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or in some cases, overpadding the game with a bunch of other things that don't really need to be there.
Yeah. Which and like
And all
that's
just because to justify the $60 price tag, and there have been rumblings that they're going to up the price to $70, and I really hope they don't, because not only because it makes them there's a harder accessibility gap, but also developers will find it harder and harder to just justify that price tag.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing that I'll say, and I don't want to say too much on this because I have to leave soon, so I don't want to start this fire and then leave. But I'm gonna. I've felt for a decent while that games should be more expensive if they were to follow proper inflation of budget costs and proper games were more expensive during the cartridge days than they were now. Like, cartridge games could often cost you what would be even like $60-$70 back then. And obviously wages haven't increased either. That's a whole other issue that we can get into if you really want to. But I don't think games like NBA 2K21, 2K, whatever the next NBA game, I don't think that NBA game deserves a $70 price tag, because you know it's going to be full of outright gambling, not just loot boxes, outright gambling.
Yeah,
Because, like, if you're going to make a game $70, then it should be a fully contained experience. And that's one of the problems, is that we got to this whole loot box decade that we've been in because we as a gaming culture were so against the idea of game prices going up during the HD era when they went from 50 to 60. So the game, as the budgets improved and as people wanted higher and higher fidelity visuals and higher production values, the budgets have increased while the prices have remained the same. So you need a higher level of sales volume to break even. So you either need to appeal to more people, or you need to start working on your season passes and your DLC ahead of time, because you need to sell to that audience to sell a special edition or sell whatever to try and help recoup some of those costs.
Yeah. Well, it's also in case of budget is just mindlessly doubling and tripling when they really don't know how to handle their budgets, and I think we would get a lot more varied games and for cheaper the price if they knew how to balance their budgets correctly.
Yeah, and that's another issue on top of it too.
Yeah, that's the issue I'm mainly focusing about. But basically having price tiers for certain games. But yeah, the whole loot box thing is just a whole different kettle of fish that needs that could take us like an hour to go through.
Oh, look, I'm a snowball.
I mean, like you're wearing a snowball costume. Okay, now you're an actual snowball.
Okay, I've got to run again, so thank you everyone again for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, have a good night, guys.
Yeah, you too.
He's gone. All right. Yeah, that is one of the things I really like about this game, is how it uses its game. Like, the gimmicks kind of like come and go, but they never it feels like in a lesser game they would feel arbitrary, and they feel like kind of pointless. Like, why would you add this in? They don't really add anything, but for some reason they work here.
I just never had the interest in pursuing Wario Land, and this goes for the entire series itself, because it's just one of those maybe it's my Banjo-Kazooie of 2D games, where it's like, yeah, I've heard about them, I've heard great things, but I just never had the personal interest.
Right.
WarioWare I discovered by just pure curiosity, because I recognize Wario, and I'm going through a lot of ROMs in this Game Boy emulator that I just discovered. So let's give it a shot. I ended up really liking the original GBA game. So I followed that for a while, but then after that, I just kind of dropped that off too.
Yeah, I've been exploring because I have a GBA emulator, so I've been like exploring like games that I haven't tried that. So like I've been playing through Metroid Zero Mission, and like and surprise, surprise, Metroid Zero Mission is a good game.
Yeah.
It's like the funny I started playing the original Doom, so I was like, oh hey guys, did you know that the original Doom is actually a good game?
What?
Like
To go into what Spider Knight was saying. Hey Rob, first off, I remember the reason why I downloaded Wario on the GBA for the first time, because I caught the box at a GameStop and I looked behind it, and though the game is about like micro like mini games and other stuff like that, I saw the back of the box and it showed like Mario 1, Metroid NES, and I thought for some reason, oh, it's like a compilation. It's like it has all these NES games in one pack. Like, that's an amazing deal. I don't know why Wario's hosting it. You know, horror movies used to have like those marathons on television hosted by one dude probably had nothing to do with anything. So it's probably like that. So then I play it and I was like, okay, this is nothing like I thought it was going to be, until I found 9-Volt, and then I found out like that was 9-Volt's gimmick. Like he was the Nintendo fanboy. But you know, it was one of those things where the beginning of the game was enough to hook me.
Yeah. I think. Because I never really played WarioWare games. I'd never thought to check them out. I think that Shake It was my first exposure to Wario, and I tend to gravitate my interest towards those. But the only Wario Land games I've played is this and Wario Land 4 through the 3DS Ambassador program. And I do like both of them.
Smooth Moves was my first experience. Oh, I can't jump there. Yeah, Smooth Moves was my first experience with Wario, because that was when the Wii first came out, so I was looking for like games to play on the Wii. So then I was like, oh, this one, it was very like Wii folk. It was like a very Wii focused like collection where you play like funny mini games with the Wiimotes. So I was like, oh, let me try it. Let me check this out. And then I was like, oh, this is really fun.
Yeah, because the first time I found Wario was through Smash Brothers, where I also found out Mario. Right, and played Mario Galaxy through Smash Brothers. Well, Brawl anyway.
I do wish we could see more. I want to see more like Wario in an antagonistic role to Mario. Because, like, outside of Mario Land 2, where he's, like, the main villain, and then, like, say, like, some of the tennis, like, Mario Power Tennis, which has, like, the cutscene where he's like, oh, he's Mario's rival in that, but it's, like, we never actually see Wario in, like, we never really see Wario in a straight-up antagonistic role against Mario anymore. And, like, I like to see that.
That's only happened once, I believe, right? And that was Mario Land 2.
Yeah, Mario Land 2, where he's, like, the straight-up villain, where he takes over Mario's castle, and, like, and then, like, yeah, in like the tennis games where he's his rival, but like that's not really a villainous role in the same way.
And they just made it separate ways since then.
Yeah, but then ever since then, he's basically just been on his own in his like own separate games, and like him and Mario have never like really connected again like since. Which is like that is another big missed opportunity.
Yeah, aside from like the occasional Mario parties and Mario Karts.
Yeah, it's like outside.
The only way you're gonna get Wario now in any capacity is likely through a budget digital only title on the Switch eShop, which I think wouldn't be a bad idea. People would buy it.
I feel like it's like that case of like maybe Nintendo have kind of like put like they have their characters in a certain role, so it's like they're like, oh, Wario is a quote unquote asshole, but they feel like we don't want him to be an asshole around Mario, like that kind of like they don't want him to be like a villain. It's like that's why
Yeah,
like,
because he's always an asshole around Mario, like it's spin-offs or otherwise, but never to the point of just being a straight up villain.
yeah, like he's not gonna go and steal Mario's like he's not gonna go and steal Mario's like castle again or do something that.
Pizza Tower. Was it that one game that I played at a Sage? Was that last year or the year before? That was basically not Wario Land.
Yeah, people mentioned that earlier, where it was like, yeah, there was that game, which is like yeah, not Wario.
Yeah, I ended up really liking that. I didn't pursue it afterwards because I just kind of forgot about everything after that stream ended. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting proof of concept. Well, it's not proof of concept, but it's just like a game in the making.
I'll say now,
Dr. is asking for an update on the Castlevania bid war. Let me pull that up real quick.
yeah, and check and see if there's any.
Oh, yeah, and also-
donations.
Oh, I've already checked
Yeah.
that out.
All right, nice.
Refresh.
Yeah.
Right here.
Nope, no new donations.
Here's the bid war tally. All right. So in terms of Castlevania, which is ending today, Castlevania 4 is currently sitting at $136, while Rondo of Blood is in the lead at $145. A $9 difference between Castlevania 4 and Rondo of Blood. Personally, I like Rondo of Blood. I find it a better game. But Castlevania 4 is also spectacular. Probably better suited for a race because it's not as complicated. It's very linear. But Rondo of Blood is Rondo of Blood. Has a better soundtrack, better graphics. I mean, that's kind of a small thing, but still, it's important to me. And it also has, 2 playable characters.
Yeah, and also we've seen Castlevania 4 so many times, and so why not?
Okay, no.
Why not change it up?
If you're gonna use that argument, we've seen all these games too many times. But
Yeah,
I like.
Fair enough.
Technically, 4 and Rondo Blood have both been shown off in one of our previous marathons.
Yes.
But it's just like we couldn't think of another good. We couldn't think of another good one that would fit for a race that people were comfortable with racing. So we were just like, yeah, let's just go with those two again. Why not?
Also, to raise money, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No complaining.
If Rondo wins, we play as Richter or Maria. We're talking about this yesterday. I think we just settled on Richter, since playing as Maria from a fresh file would require us unlocking her in stage 2, which is not at all difficult to do, but it might cause some hiccups. I mean, that could be part of the challenge, I suppose, but I'd rather we just keep it consistent, just have it Richter roll. Let's switch to Maria if you're dying too many times, or if none of us finish the game before our allotted time is up.
Yeah.
If you play Rondo Blood, will be played via Requiem. I'm going to assume that's how Derek is also playing his. So yeah, I can pop in Requiem on the PS4. It's basically just a straight port of the PSP version with the English dub.
And now I can be Mini Wario. Go ahead, ripping off Sonic CD. Zoop.
Racing Haunting Castle would be frustrating to a point, but it also would just be under 20 minutes long. Haunted Castle is short.
I'm now that I have because I saw now that I have a Switch, I'm really tempted to pick up the Castlevania Anniversary Collection because I really want an excuse to go through all of those games again.
Also, to get Castlevania Bloodlines.
Yeah,
Oh
to
my
play that one.
Game, that game went from never being ported to being ported twice, in the span of a year. That is quite insane.
Have they said what?
Play Bloodlines, Ellie.
Have they said when the plan is for the second Anniversary Collection?
Nothing. I didn't hear anything, so that's not really the same as they didn't say anything. So I don't know. I don't know if they're in any rush to make anything Castlevania related, considering they just getting ready to cancel Grimoire of Souls after that game only got a soft launch in Canada and nowhere. I mean, it was in Japan for a bit, but it only got soft launched in Canada and nowhere else, and then they're canceling it.
That's so weird.
Yes. Oh, that's right. Bloodlines in Europe was called New Generation, and they replaced the red background with water because you got your cousins. I can't drink blood. I could drink water.
Screw you, mate.
I say Europe, and you want straight Australian. I don't know why I'm supposed to take from that.
You've been to South London.
No, never.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's your point.
That definitely sounds Australian. Like, was that Matt? No.
I mean, British, Australians. What's the difference?
I can think of a few, but for the sake of not making this live stream a history lesson that nobody cares about, I will refrain from it.
Hmm.
So yeah, how much longer do we have in the game, Stefan?
Probably less than an hour. Like I think we'll be done by 5:30.
Okay, well,
I think there's 2 more levels and 2 more bosses.
Well, if you're just tuning in, just to give you a quick refresh, this entire week long, we are pretty much hosting an event called Subpar Smash Brothers. I love that name. To the ends of the earth, I love that name. And we are currently raising money for the Diabetes Research Institute, helping folks in need with raising funds basically for diabetes research, and helping those in need in general. It's always what we like to do every year. We've been doing this for quite a while, actually, because we started with as early as I can think of. I remember helping HFC with the Zelda-thon, which led into the Nintendo-thon, and was there another one after the Sonic-thon? There was also the Sonic-thon.
Yeah, Sonic I think was first. That was like 2013, 2014, right. And then Nintendo-thon's 2015.
Yeah, and then after that's pretty much when we started funding the charity room afterwards, and then we've had Platform Mania, we had License to Chill, and a lot of other fun week-long events that we're just sitting around goofing our asses off and doing a lot of meme shit. But it's all to raise money, and that's why I love doing this even. So if you haven't already and you're considering it and you don't know where exactly to look, at the bottom of the video player there is a big purple donate button. You can also get the donate link by, I think, was it typing donate? Yeah, there you go. And Nightbot will help you direct yourself to the donation page. Nightbot's also programmed to post a link every 20-30 minutes. So and if you can't make a contribution, don't feel bad at all. Just raising awareness is more than enough. And believe me, it does help. Because I always go back to the story. Because it's actually pretty remarkable. I remember a couple of years ago, I think it might have been during one of the first Fun and Charity Room events, but or at least a Sonic-a-thon, where somebody didn't have money, but they spread the word on social media, and that got I think it was Cobana Mine before he left YouTube. And he made I think it was a $400 to $500 contribution, all because he learned about it. He wanted to help the cause, and I mean, there you go. And that's kind of what it's all about. So if you can't contribute, monetary speaking, just share it. We'll attract you to someone who does have deep pockets.
Yeah, that's the basic gist of it. And given the situation, I am surprised that we managed to make this much money within this amount of time. So,
yeah, in about 2 days, we've already raised over. Let's see. We're over $8,000, and that is absolutely incredible. And okay, actually, we're over. We actually got a few more donations coming in. It's a little delayed, but there is an $85 donation by Nosers.
Nice.
Another decently big dono. Please put 25 to the Switch raffle, 50 to Advance 2, and 10 to Rondo. All right, I will handle that. Thank you very much, Nosers. That is your phone.
Get him. Come on. Stop it. I mentioned this before, but these bosses, especially this one, look so much like a Cuphead boss.
I mean, what? Just because it looks 2D?
Well, it's 2D, but just the way it's animated and its personality.
Yeah, Stefan, you think every 2D boss is a Cuphead boss? Christ, I mean, is that our criteria now? It's 2D. That's the Cuphead boss. That's it.
Yeah.
Just 2D.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Stupid.
If you look at the character design, this looks nothing like a Cuphead boss.
Come on, no. Come on, go. Ah, damn it. poopy explosions. Oh, don't tell me. I don't want to die now.
Okay, so in chat, basically, this looks like a combat boss is the new Dark Souls.
There's too many enemies on screen. All right, I might die.
But like a rising phoenix, he will be reborn
She
into what?
emerges.
It's not actually rising from the ashes. I guess in Wario's case, he would just reemerge from a gas cloud or some other shit.
Yeah, we established that Wario's technically immortal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like dying.
And winner. And I'm actually wrong. That was the last boss of the world. So now I'm about to fight the final boss.
Yeah.
So you can actually tell Catherine I'll probably be done in maybe about 10-20 minutes, depending on if the boss gives me trouble, which it shouldn't. I did a bunch of practice of it, so.
As we're getting ready to do that, though, let me give you guys a reminder of the bid wars that are ending today. It is Monday, August 3rd here. All right, so the only two we have for today is a bid war between Fire Emblem Warriors, as in the character bid war, because right now we have Tiki at $10. Is it Lissa or is it Lisa?
I think it's Lissa.
It's two S's. I want to say Lissa. That's $85. Male Robin is currently sitting at $60, and Takumi is sitting at $70. And I recall hearing that Ted doesn't like Takumi. So put your money towards Takumi.
Yeah,
And
currently
make-
Lissa is winning, so that means Catherine
Yeah.
will be playing as, or at the very least, unless somebody comes in and takes over that, she'll be playing as
Snipe.
Lissa. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
that's the next game.
Somebody
up.
expected.
Yep, that's right after this.
That's right after this? Okay. So I would say if anyone's got a spare $16, just want to take Takumi up to the very top and snipe that position, you're more than welcome to do so. But besides that, though, the only other bid war we have for today is the Castlevania 4 versus Rondo of Blood for the race that Derek and I are hosting tomorrow. And right now, Castlevania 4 is sitting at $136, while Rondo of Blood is in a quite comfortable lead at $155. And that will end after the last game for tonight, which I believe is Fire Emblem, right? Is Fire Emblem the last game being played
Yeah.
for today? So when that run ends, Derek and I will know what game wins, and we can probably, I don't know, practice once. Or not at all,
All right, let me just I just buying an extra heart piece because I'll probably need it. And
That's Captain Syrup, right? From
Yep.
the earlier games. What is she doing running the shop here? Is she gonna steal our characters as well?
she's just being a sexy waifu. Just
Ah,
being
okay.
like, hey Wario, you want some
She is
maps? Yeah, she's the one who basically just because you in this game you collect the coins and you use the coins to buy the maps towards each of the 5 worlds.
But to go into the other bid wars that we have that are not necessarily ending today, but to let you guys know ahead of time, there is currently a bid war for Super Mario All Stars, in which game I believe Ryan is going to play. And right now, out of the available choices, well, the Super Mario Brothers sitting at $0. No shock there. Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels is sitting at a commanding lead at $255. Super Mario Brothers 2 USA is sitting at $40. Super Mario Brothers 3 also at $0, and Super Mario World is sitting at $170. So a lot of folks trying to look out for Ryan there. Except Lost Levels is clearly winning, so fuck him. Then we have Dragon Quest: Save the Princess or Fuck the Dragon. Save the Princess is currently at $45. And Fuck the Dragon is at $56. I understand Save the Princess. Like, I get it. But Fuck the Dragon is new to me. I don't understand what that means in Dragon Quest.
I said fuck the dragon because it's like either it's save the princess or don't save the princess, and instead of don't save the princess, I just said fuck the dragon as a joke, and we just kept it.
All right.
Because I was originally gonna say what do you call it? I was gonna say fuck the. I'm just gonna restart that. 'Cause I screwed up. I was gonna say fuck the princess, but Ted was like, you can actually fuck the princess and save the princess. So I'm like, oh, then that doesn't work. So it's like
Yeah, fucking as in fuck over.
Yeah, fuck over the princess, but it's
Yeah,
like,
fuck over-
but fuck the dragon was funnier, so I kept it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, clearly fuck as a bug over, and not fuck as in whipped cream.
You made a creepy hero. Thank you. Anyway, next we have Metroid Prime, which is a Metroid Prime that where basically you guys are getting to select what Metroid Prime I'm going to play on this coming Thursday. And that is between Metroid Prime, which is sitting at $625, Metroid Prime 2 Echoes, which is over double that, at
Jeez.
$1,351, and Metroid Prime 3 sadly is below all that at $140. Why is better than
Corruption's really good. I like that was my first Metroid game.
it's looking like so far I'm gonna be playing Metroid Prime 2 Echoes for Thursday, so that should be pretty interesting. Well, I'm gonna be playing the GameCube release. People are asking me like what version I'm gonna play. I'm gonna be playing the GameCube release because if I'm gonna play Prime in any capacity, I'll do with the GameCube controller. Not that the Wii motion controls are bad; they're actually perfectly fine for the games too. But I prefer GameCube. Then we have the Sonic Advance Bill, which again is also I'll be playing, depending on what raises the most money. And this is pretty interesting. Well, not for Sonic Advance's case, because that's sitting at a low $20. But Sonic Advance 2 is sitting at $340, and Sonic Advance 3 is right behind it at $335. So that is up there. Now, I personally would love to play Sonic Advance 2 if I had to choose between what the current two contenders. But I know Sonic Advance 3 is raising a lot of money because you want to see me suffering, because there's a lot of Sonic Advance 3 apologists in this chat. I'm not going to say you're wrong.
I'm gonna say I am an apologist and proud of it.
You're not gonna say you're wrong out loud.
I'm gonna say proud of it. Damn it.
But $5 gap between those two games, that is pretty amazing. And finally, not finally, we got a couple here. Pac-Man World, as in what Pac-Man World game is going to be played. Pac-Man World 1 is winning by, no, that's currently at $25. And Pac-Man World 2, which I hear is the better game, is at $39. So that is going for, let me see, that is on Saturday? That war ends on Saturday. Then here's another one for me, Metal Gear, the first Metal Gear Solid game. There's a bit work currently going on for which version I'm playing, which is the original PlayStation 1 version, or Twin Snakes, the remake for the Nintendo GameCube. And the remake is currently winning at $155, while the PS1 original sits at $30. And for the, let me see, final two bid wars we have here, one is for Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. And that is, I'm guessing, what characters are going to be chosen. So let's see, we have Ryuji here at $55, Makoto at $60, Akechi at $5, Haru at $115, and Yusuke at $5. No love for Yusuke or Akechi. I don't know who those two are.
Well, those are only one person put them in each, and then yeah, then a lot of people put in for Haru.
I gave you the pity, Lincoln. And then finally, we have the Mario Party bid war, which I know a lot of folks are looking forward to, because I might just get drunk for that. We have Mario Party 2 sitting at $225, which is, got me, it's not surprising me. Mario Party. Mario Party 5, unfortunately, getting no love, sitting at $0. Mario Party 6, though, in the lead at $265. Mario Party 8 in a comfortable third place with $160. Super Mario Party also no love, sitting at $0. And that's pretty much all the bid wars. Since we're over $8,000, though, you guys already unlocked 3 games for the incentive day. One was at Link's Crossbow Training, which we unlocked at $3,000. The second game was WarioWare Smooth Moves, which we unlocked at $5,000. And one of my personal favorites, we're going to be racing Donkey Kong Country. Ryan and I are going to be racing Donkey Kong Country 2, since you guys unlocked that at $7,000. Our next incentive game is at $9,000, but keep my lips sealed until then.
Oh god, I have 1 heart left. Fuck.
Ours is
Now
well on our way of reaching our goal of 10K in a short amount of time. But our final incentive game is unlocked at $15,000. I'm not expecting us to break any goals. I mean, I would like to break us our initial goal, of course, but I'm not expecting anything else much after that. You guys have already done way more than enough. But you can do a little more. Reach into that pocket. You don't need that penny. Put that pretzel down.
Look, Faye, you've been on lockdown. You have some spare money for pubs. Why don't you use that to donate?
Yeah, commission hero for an art piece.
Damn. Oh, I missed. Okay, good. Yeah, you have to do two phases of this all in one heart. So it's like I try to hold on and not get hit as much as I can the first time because that second one can get pretty tough. I also don't think I don't think you need to shake him. You can just shake him if you want the coins, but they don't. It doesn't do extra damage.
Mario's a greedy fuck. So
Yeah. I need more. I need more.
It's more in character. Oh, here we go. We got a couple of more donations here. I will read away. Got $5 from Seth W. Hey, John, I've been watching you guys for years. Glad to donate to a good cause. Can you guys name a pet you always wanted but never got around to getting? Now, oh, God, it's a dog. Let me see. Well, there's a couple of breed of dogs I've always wanted, but either I just don't have the housing for it or they're incredibly high maintenance. One dog that I would like to own is a Great Dane because they can get absolutely massive, but they don't live very long, unfortunately, because, again, I don't know, they just have short lifespans. And I would always like to own a Saint Bernard, which I hear they're incredibly expensive to even get a pup for. But I also hear they don't have long lifespans too, and they're high maintenance. But I just love Saint Bernards. Saint Bernards and Great Danes. I would love to own either of those. Maybe at some point. I'm not sure.
I want a pug. I want a pug. I love pugs.
Yeah, pugs are adorable.
Yeah, I feel like the easy answer that would be like the most likely I could get at some point is a dog, and like if I could pick any dog, it would be pugs because I love them. But of any pet that I want a ferret. Like I think ferrets are so cute, and it's just I see it at the pet store all the time, and I'm like, man, I would just love to get a parrot, but it's like I don't think I'd be able to get one anytime soon.
Yeah. I'm not getting a dog anytime soon. Like I would, that's something I would do in my I don't know, midlife or some other stuff. Because I don't know if Celine would react well to a dog. There's already, we had our scuffles with Chico, and Chico had to go because of that. But Chico's a good boy though. He found a nice home this past weekend.
Yay.
So that's good. The unnamed Ted Botherer. The unnamed Ted Botherer. Oh, get in line. In the spirit of the age-old FTCR proverb, get fucked, Ted. JK, I love Ted, but really. But charity and memes demand that y'all must suffer. Oh, if you're raising money, I don't give a shit. Studio Oddity with $20. Here's $20 for Takumi. You're welcome, Ted.
No.
All right, let me update that character viewer real quick because I think that, unless someone donates real quick, Takumi just sniped the top of the position with $90, coming ahead of Alyssa by $5.
And also remember to put in a comment that also like that puts that like who donated what on the sheet as well.
Yeah, unless somebody manages to snipe that and change the bidding war.
Damn it!
Hurry up, Stephen.
Fuck. All right. I keep messing up the timing of the shaking because I'm like so nervous about like I need to shake at this exact moment, but then it's like oh no, I screw up the boss pattern by doing that. Come on. All right, yeah, that one.
Yeah, if you just donate it, give the page some time. It does lag a bit. Unfortunately, nothing we can really do about that on our end besides hit refresh. The number did go up again, so we have to give it a bit. It's like, what if Ganon and Eggman had a child?
Yeah, pretty much. I can see that.
Yeah.
Kind of also has a a hard-boiled heavy-esque look to him too.
Yeah, I do get like what was the name of the head honcho?
The Heavy King, I think his name.
Heavy King. Yeah, I do get Heavy King looking at this dude.
I mean, to me, it looks like if Wario and Ganondorf did the fusion dance.
The Magnificent Beer kind of throws me off, unless it's like, wait, no, Ganondorf never had a Magnificent Beer like that, did he?
And one of the, I think he did it in one of the games.
He had a beard in Twilight Princess, but it wasn't like that long.
Oh, and the game is over.
Is that game?
Yep, that game. That's the he's dead, and he's about to explode.
KO.
Boom. And we get a little we get an anime cutscene to end it all off.
I never played this game, but I think I'm familiar with what happens here, which is like the most Wario thing that can happen in a Wario game.
Yep.
You know, yeah, you got the little elf guys that you saved.
Okay, we have a $25 donation from Tox. As much as Ted's suffering is amusing to me, I can't support Takumi. Please put this to Lissa. Oh no, I think Lissa just took the top spot again at the last second.
Okay, Steve. Okay, Stefan, you can take your time. You can take your time.
Haha! Yeet!
Will Takumi come out on top before the credits are over? I wonder.
Wahahaha!
Yeah. Do not skip the credits.
Invincible! And he's happy. He's got his infinite money bag.
Just eat it that one.
Credits. So yeah, I'll just let the credits roll. I think Catherine's soon ready to set up. Yeah, I'll just let it all go because I mean we still got time.
Yeah, give Takuma another shot.
Yeah, yep. You got it. You got. We'll say 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's an interesting little bit we're happening there with Lissa and Takumi. Now, what's the problem with Takumi? Because I don't know who Takumi is.
I don't know who it is. I just know Ted doesn't like him.
This is more a question for those that have played Fire Emblem Warriors. Like, why can Takumi not be supported? Oh, he's an ass. All right, never mind. Next one.
I have a feeling he'd probably be one.
Okay, yeah, give me more.
I have a feeling he's probably a character that I don't. He's probably one of the characters I wouldn't like either. But yeah, because he's an ass for no reason. Yeah, he's probably one of those type of characters. But he's a pretty boy, so people like him despite being an ass. That's probably who he is.
Oh. Okay, I can see that. I can see that.
Man, it's a shame they don't do Mario games. Don't do more anime cutscenes.
Not the 3D.
This is the only Mario
Like,
game that does
add
anime
production.
cutscenes.
You know, because Luigi's Mansion 3, showed that a 3D game with really good production values can look absolutely stellar. I mean, I'm always going to have a bias for 2D animation as well. But, you know, if 3D games keep looking the way they do, assuming it's not killing the developers either, I can go with either or.
There was Leslie Swan in the credits.
Is she still working for Nintendo?
At least as of I think she's still working.
As a
for Nintendo.
localizer? Yeah, because I think she was a localizer.
Good feel.
Yeah.
Satoru
Luigi
Iwata.
As far as I'm aware, Luigi's Mansion 3 is not an anime.
And then, uh-oh, what? Zzz. Up, there's best waifu.
Oh.
Be seeing you, handsome.
Man, she was able to do all that without moving her lips. She's like, she's an amazing ventriloquist. I mean, it's not all bad, Wario. He still has a really bitchin' Cadillac. Like, I mean, look at the
Well,
glass.
yeah, they can go back in and get some more.
But no, but he wants the infinite money bag. Thank you for playing.
Now, see, that's something Mario would say. It's like, Wario is more like a eat shit and die sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck off.
Yeah,
fuck off and give me my money.
I lost the money. What the fuck am I gonna thank you for?
Yeah, thanks for playing. Yeah, whatever. Now go home.
All right, well, I'll give another 5 more minutes until we'll close off.
Oh my
Fire
God.
Emblem. What now?
Wait, hold on, I just read
What?
the donation page. All right, let's read it. All right.
Okay.
Okay. First off, we have $150 for Daniel. Was it Rizako?
Risotto.
Rizotsko. Thank you very much.
Oh
I'm looking
boy.
at the final boss of this game, and I can't help but think this is a Luke versus Darth Vader situation here. Are we sure Shake King isn't Wario's father? Anyway, put this towards Corey in the house for the Metal Gear bid for it. Just kidding. We got our favorite childhood thing going last week.
I didn't see that.
Put this towards the Amiibo raffle. So 150. That's like 10 tickets. Isn't it?
Yeah, for 15. Yep. So that's
Yeah.
he'll get 15.
Okay. Then we have Spider Knife with $50. Much love, you guys. Keep up the great work and success with this trade week. Oh, you made me do math here. Put $9.99 to Takumi and $40.01 on Mario Party 2.
Finally, cents.
Thank you, Rob. Kiss my ass. All right, hold on. Let me update that in real time because we're not done with the donations just yet. We also have $150 to from
Calico.
Calico Plus. Put this to Tiki. And wow, holy shit. Is Tiki gonna end up taking it? Let's see. That is at 160, right? So then we have Studio Oddity donating $21 more for Takumi. And that's great, but unfortunately not enough because like our winner for this bid war is Tiki.
Wait, what?
$160, right?
And Catherine in the Discord. Fuck, I hate Tiki.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh my god, get fucked. Let's add Takumi.
All right, so yeah, we'll close it off now because it's like the game's done. We can only stare at Wario's ass for so long.
All right, so this is.
You sure?
I gotta add Rob's decimals. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. That is amazing.
Oof.
Oh, let me add Rob's $40.01 to Mario Party 2.
And then yeah, and then just put 15 Daniel results goes for into the amiibo.
All right. I believe, are we done here?
Yep, we're done here.
All right. Well, anything else you want to say before we head on?
Wario is sexy.
Wario sex. What's our total now? We can end that with our donation total. Sure. Let me see. Let me do a quick refresh real quick because we'll probably do donations at a later point. We are currently standing at $8,553. We are less than $1,500 away from reaching our initial goal of 10K. You guys are incredible for the amount of money you raised in the short amount of time, and we're not even halfway done the event yet. Like, not even there yet. We got a long way to go. I'm expecting all the donations for Final Fantasy IV. Because that's going to be a long game. It's going to be a great adventure, though, and I can't wait to have you guys there with me. So, with that said, we're going to close things off for now. And I believe next up for the final game of today is Fire Emblem Warriors with lead star Tiki because of your generous donations.